You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey, folks. It's Carlos and Wayne coming to you live from Beansanddice podcast, Thursday Night Live call-in show. Playing the role of Rob today will be Wayne.
Yeah, I'm the token white guy in the room tonight.
Hey, know your role. Know your role. I am glad to be back. I know we missed out last week for Florida spring break.
Yes.
It was exhausting. I drove all the way up to Greensboro, North Carolina.
Crazy.
A horrible Rob impression, says our friend.
Oh, who's that? Who said that? Oh,
Mitch.
Mitchell. I can't.
You know what? Seeing that Mitch is already there, I'm going to turn on this phone now, Wayne. We're just going to turn this bad boy on now.
Make him wait. We should make Mitch
No,
wait.
man. He ran a con, brother. We don't make that man wait. We don't make that man wait. He ran a con. I'm over here complaining because
he didn't even fix one play and win so that Rob could come home with a free game.
Rob didn't win nothing.
Rob didn't win nothing.
I'm hoping Rob will join us sometime today.
Yeah,
he might pop in tonight.
Yeah, I got tied up with some work.
Beans and Dice podcast. State your name and how that con went.
There's a Mitchell from Louisiana, and I feel flattered. You opened the phone lines early.
Listen, the founding member of Beans and Dice calls, you answer. That's how that works.
So I got to tell you a funny story. Actually, BJ and I just recorded a podcast, and I'm now the founding member of Board Game Gumbo too. Someone came up to me and said, "Hey, I recognize you from your YouTube channel," and I'm like, "What channel?" They're like, "Board Game Gumbo." I'm like, "Oh." I'm not like I'm on there sometimes, but it's not my channel. She's like, no, I saw your face. You were talking about the convention. That's why we came. So I told BJ I'm now the founder of Board Game Gumbo.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's definite. I mean, you're clearly the founder. Soon you'll be Blue Peg, Pink Peg, and Rolling Dice Take Names. And
if you can just get yourself on those shows,
soon to be featured on Shut Up and Sit Down.
Yep.
International.
Might as well call me Tom from Florida.
No. No. Praise be, Tom from Florida.
Yeah.
Brother, glad to have you on. How'd you treat Rob?
Man, it was so great gaming with Rob. It's been a year since last time I gamed with him, and that was only for a couple hours. I gamed with him and Wayne at Dice Tower East. I happened to be in town, but I had a flight out. But yeah, we gamed a lot over the course of Friday and Saturday. I was bummed he had to leave on Sunday, but he got to experience 2/3 of the con, and we got a lot of good games in. And it was good just hanging out with him again.
Good. We're about to get into the start of the show. And for those of you that are new to the Beans and Dice podcast, we're a podcast about how we game. And on Thursday nights, we talk about how you game. And some of our segments that we're going to go through today include the Twig, the This Week in Gaming, which is where we usually start off. We're going to hit in the news. And then we're going to finish off with some OGG, some other geek goodness. So, Mitch, you're calling right as we're starting the Twig. So it's perfect timing. Talk to us about your con adventures.
Man, I thought it went really smooth. I got to get a lot of games in. I got 40-something games in over the 3 days, which as the director of the convention, if you're able to do that instead of putting out fires, I think that's a pretty good sign that things went well. We did a lot of the pre-work, so we were able to just enjoy the convention for the most part while it was running. I got a lot of great games in. I have one in particular I'll bring up to you as my favorite game, spoiling the Board Game Gumbo podcast that'll be coming out probably tomorrow. But have you guys played 12 Rivers yet?
I don't even know what 12 rivers are.
What?
I couldn't name 10 of them to you.
Oh my gosh, your geography is not your
my
your
first language.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I think I first saw this years ago whenever I went to Gen Con, but then it's like been out of print or whatever. So 12 Rivers. I just got a message from John saying, wait till the second hour to call, then I'll get on. Oops, I'll call back later, Rob, I promise. Anyway, where was I? 12 Rivers. Yeah, I don't know if you could pull up a picture because it's kind of hard to explain. But the board,
the reprint from 2025?
Wait, what's that?
This one from 2025? I think it's a reprint.
It's got a beautiful picture of a plateau, waterfall cresting down into a river across a forest stream.
Yes, so the board is like a mountain, so it's elevated on one side, and there are marbles up at the top, which are thematically they're pearls.
Yep. Sign me
And
up.
what you're doing is you're basically putting dams in the river.
Whoa! It's not after 10 o'clock. Watch your mouth.
There's no in this word. You're putting dams on the river, which are kind of like your workers. And whenever the river falls, you take off the big block that's stopping the marbles. Whoever's dam it lands on gets to collect a pearl from there. So it's kind of a little bit of a push your luck. It's like, do I put my dam up high and guarantee I'm going to get a pearl, but the rivers haven't converged yet, so I'm not going to get as much choice? Or do I do it at the bottom and hope I'll get the pick of the litter unless people put too many dams on that river, and then I won't get any of it? So you're kind of hedging your bet. It's a really, really cool mechanic, and it's got a lot of table presence and a toy factor, and basically you're collecting these villagers that want certain colors of pearls. So it's not just about getting the most number of pearls, but getting the right ones that your villagers want. And you're carrying them on your alpacas down the river, down the mountain to the village. It's really thematic and a lot of fun.
I've seen this before. Now that we brought it up, and it looked really gimmicky, and I think I just wiped it from my mind. But you're telling me that the game mechanisms are also there, that it's not just toy factor.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I would be lying if I said I didn't go to the table because of its presence and its toy factor. That was the hook. But I feel like the mechanics behind it were worth all the hype that, looking at it garners.
Very cool.
Very cool. I like it. There was a game from Phil Walker Harding, like maybe a year or two ago, and it was like a Plinko board where it was like, you drop the marble down and you were a mountain climber trying to climb the mountain. So it was very toy factory, but super light and simple. This looks like a little bit more complex than that. Yeah.
It's there's no, I don't think I can think that there's any randomness. It's all calculated. You're making a decision. Like, where the marble's falling from. You know what path it's going to take. It's just you kind of have to read each other. Like, if I put my dam here, is he going to go below me or above me? And this is one of those games where it's probably beneficial to go last because you can kind of see what everyone else has done and then make an informed decision. Whereas if you go earlier, you have the first shot at those best spots, but the best spots cost more resources. So you have to figure out, is guaranteeing that you're going to get this pearl worth the cost? Whereas, your other players might have gone all the way down to the bottom of the mountain and then you wasted those resources for nothing.
I like it.
Cool. That looks cool.
Yep. So that was my favorite game of the con, but we had some really cool experiences. BJ ran an unmatched tournament that happened to have an amazing prize. Carlos, thanks so much for making that awesome trophy. We got a picture with the winner that we're going to be posting on the Sobo page soon. BJ wanted to get a picture with Rob in it, but Rob and I were too busy playing games. So Rob got eliminated in the first round of that tournament, unfortunately. But that opened him up to go and play more games. So whenever it finished, BJ wasn't able to find him. But we do have a picture with him and the trophy that we want to share on the socials.
I made one of those, Wayne. The light up acrylic board.
Nice.
For Unmatched for them.
Yep. I think you posted a photo in our Discord of it.
I think so.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Just like you had done a couple years ago when we had our tournament of Challengers, you had said something for that as well.
Challengers, I sent like a wooden one. So it was like a wooden plaque. But this time I thought I'd step it up a notch and like really make y'all, happy and make it worth for the Unmatched winner.
Yeah, we always appreciate your support of Sobo. So the winner went home with that, and also some really nice spoils that Restoration sent over, some promo cards that were really, really pretty looking. So yeah, that was a good event. We had our life-size hot streak, was a lot of fun. That was our last event of the con. Kind of close it out.
I saw the picture of your family dressed up as you were testing it. That was awesome.
Right. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It went well. It was the last event of the con, so it was a nice kind of just closure of everything. Kind of all the stress of the convention was gone, minus the fact that we were about to have to tear down. But we just got to chill and have fun. John, who's the CEO of New Hope, which is a nonprofit that this benefits, he was the hot dog. I think one of the custodians from the event center was no. John was the fish. One of the custodians was the hot dog. And they kept running into each other. That was a lot of fun. There was so much energy. People were cheering and booing whenever cards would flip out. It was exactly what you would hope for in a situation like that in a kooky game like Hot Streak.
Now, what I wanted to know, because that sounds like something fun to do just on a regular day, like finding a way to do that here in Tampa. How did you manage the board, right? I see the people, but how did you make a board for y'all?
So we kind of ghetto rigged it a little bit. So I got some Visqueen. So my dad was a plumber. I grew up. There's always Visqueen around the house. That's not a local term, right? I know what Visqueen is.
Yes.
Like plastic.
I made a whole haunted house out of that.
Okay, just making sure. So we did that, and then we measured out. We used a combination of duct tape and like painter's tape to demarcate the lanes. And then my wife had some nice stars from her classroom for the stars that we put on there, and then we printed out pictures of the mascots' faces. And that's what we used there. And then we got,
you made a whole board.
Yeah. Yep. The only thing I would say, we measured it at how much space you needed to stand up. I forgot about the fact that you can fall down or be standing in the same space. So it was a little tight whenever people would run into each other, then have to sit down. But we made do. We made it work, and it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had a lot of special events. I think I've kind of talked about in the past how, just to get Sobo off the ground a few years ago, it was mostly just an open play convention, which it still is a lot of open play, but we had a lot of special events. Our friend Jay Bell, who's a designer who works for Panda, he gave a seminar about board game design tips and had a Q&A session that went well. Panda also sponsored a game design jam where the different teams were given prompts to design a game with the given components in a short amount of time, and they would pitch it, and there were some judges who scored them on a rubric. We had a bunch of games being play tested. This year we had awards for the favorite play tested game by the attendees and also by the other game designers that we gave out. What else did we have? We had our first virtual flea market rather than having a bazaar and people having to bring all those games and not selling them all. So we had a lot of new things, and then also a ton of open play, a lot of people in the building, and we had a good time. It was a success.
I'm glad to hear, brother. We're hoping to hear from Rob. Sure. He's going to join us in the second half, so he'll give us his twig in the second half of how it went for him, his experience.
Yep, and I'm hoping to make it out to Dice Tower East this year. I put that in the Discord. Looks like the fam's going to be coming and might go to Disney one day, or just, every time I go to Dice Tower East and I see that awesome pool at the Caribe, I'm like, man, my kids would love this. So, yeah, we're just waiting to pull the trigger. We're going to Greece next week, and so we're seeing how expensive all that's going to be before we make the final decision. But we should be there, assuming we don't break the bank too much while we're in Europe.
Yeah, you can join Wayne and I for board games at the pool, which is not unheard of.
Usually spend a day at the pool or afternoon at the pool. And although what's good is my kid now, granted, I only got the one. I'm not like y'all. So it's easy for us, my wife and the kid attend. So I'll do morning hardcore gaming and then afternoon family gaming. And then again at night, more of the hardcore gaming. But I think that Dice Tower might do a live hot streak thing too. I feel like I've seen them post some photos of them trying out costumes or something. And then I know they're going to have they have that giant curling game that I'm looking forward to playing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Well, hey, I don't want to gum up the lines. I just wanted to give a quick Sobo recap and say it was how much fun I had hanging out with Rob again. And thanks again for sending over that trophy, man. We appreciate the support.
Did they give you a raise this year on your pay from the past years when you just supported?
Yeah, it quadrupled. 0 times 5, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
But at least now you've inherited Board Game Gumbo, so
Yeah, exactly. That's the real pride. But the convention benefits directly. All the profits go to New Hope, which is run by, like I said, John Newman. It's a nonprofit in our community that gives tutoring and kind of mentoring and counseling services to at-risk kids in our community. It does a lot of good work, and this is the main fundraiser for it. Not just the badge prices, but also we had a ton of games donated by publishers, and we were able to have 4 big raffle pots. So all the entry fees of those raffles went straight to New Up as well. We gave away probably over 100 games between Play to Win and the raffle and each of our events for attendees and the winners of those different special events. We were giving out stuff. So we had a lot of support from lots of companies and, like I said, from Beansanddice with the trophy. So we're really appreciative because, again, it goes to do good work here in the community for sure.
Beautiful to hear it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep.
Thanks for being the first caller. You're going on the board. Caller number 1.
Yep, I'll be in the chat.
See you, brother.
Thanks, man.
All right, later. Bye.
All right, that was Mitchell from Lafayette, Louisiana, where they hosted the con. He's out of New Iberia. Not that old Iberia. That old Iberia. That's
bad.
That's for the birds.
I think it's hilarious that somebody came up to him thinking he was the Board Game Gumbo. It's like karma.
I saw that episode too, where BJ had said that about Board Game Gumbo.
It comes up every time Mitchell's on BJ's show. He's like, "Oh, here's Mitchell, founder of Beans and Dice."
But this time he said founding member of Board Game Gumbo, so that was fun to watch. We got another call coming in. Caller number 2 already. Beans and Dice podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Mitchell from New Iberia, the founder of the Dice Tower.
And the Gumbo man himself.
What's up, guys? It's PJ from Board Game Gumbo.
I tried to say your catchphrase. I just don't. English is not my first language.
Le bon temps roulé.
That's the one. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, Carlos. I wanted to say a personal thank you. I know Mitchell's already done it, but he stole my thunder. But I want to tell you, thank you for that awesome trophy. I know how much you like Unmatched. You know how much I liked Unmatched. So it was a perfect fit. That beautiful trophy. We had 20 people show up. We had to turn some people away. We had 16 people in our Unmatched tournament. Restoration Games sent us some cool promos. Oh man, I love this game. I love the tournament. I didn't even have to play. I got to walk around, answer questions, and show off that gorgeous trophy. Thank you, Carlos, for supporting New Hope Foundation. I really appreciate it, man.
I'm glad to help, man. You guys have been a godsend as friends for our show, so I'm glad to have y'all there. Hey, question: Did Restoration did Restoration send you a copy of the new Stars and Stripes Unmatched by any chance?
It's on the way.
Oh, I saw that review on Dice Tower East. I was super surprised. Totally didn't expect it, but it was the Alamo on one side of the map and the White House on the other, Wayne. So now you can have Sasquatch like fighting Robin Hood in the White House in the Oval Room.
I think there's a movie about that.
Oh man, it's been a tough secret to keep. I've kind of known about that set for a while. I love all 4 of those characters. I just haven't seen it yet in person. I can't wait to play it though. So I should have a copy, and I'll send you some pictures when it comes in. Or forget that. Come to Lafayette and we'll play it together. How's that?
Will you be in Orlando this July?
You never know. You never know. I am not going to BGG-Con this fall, unfortunately. So I am looking for another convention to go, and I love Dice Tower East.
Well, Mitch is talking about going, and I think I owe you a rematch on baseball highlights 2045.
That's right. Actually, no, I played Mitchell. You played Berkey. You and I haven't played together.
You're right. Berkey and I had a good match.
My wife's got a teacher conference that week, so you never know. I might just be sneaking up there, man. That might be fun.
I
wanted to talk about my twig, though.
Yes, sir. Hit us with your twig. This Week in Gaming.
Yeah. This Week in Gaming. I just wanted to talk about one game, and it's Vantage. Have you guys played it yet? I can't remember.
Not yet.
No, we haven't. I think Rob has. I might be getting a copy of it, actually.
But I think Rob gave it like a true 2 out of 10. Not one of his like joking 2 out of 10s, but like an honest 2 out of 10. So it kind of put me off of it for a little bit. Tell me why Rob's wrong.
Ironically, it's a story game, and Mitchell hates story games, which makes sense because he is a theater major, right?
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So it is a story game. It's an open world game. It's open-ended. And I can see why I don't even recommend it anymore, because it's going to be on one side of the fence or the other. If you're looking for a tight 90-minute Euro or 2-hour dudes on a map with a start and a finish, it's going to be tough for you to like this game. But if you like open world video gaming, if you grew up playing the Legend of Zelda, just walking around doing stuff, I think you might like this. And I know I have. I've played it 16 times now, which is crazy because I don't play solo games. But I played it solo 13 or 14 times. Played it with friends 3 or 4 other times, and we do something called the guided playthroughs. You might remember, Carlos. We teach you the game. All you have to do is sign up for it.
Yes.
And we try to make them games that have just come out in the last year or 2, games people haven't played yet. So I had 3 people sign up for it. I will never recommend anybody play Vantage with more than 2 or 3 people. I just don't think, even though it says 6 people, I don't think it's good for that. There's just too much downtime. Tell Rob 3 new players with the teach, which, by the way, only takes a minute because that's the way Vantage is built. 3 new players, and we did not a regular victory, an epic victory, the big victory, 2 hours, start to finish. We had a defined goal. We had one of the players Connor, who you've met, he's just like dedicated. He's like, I know what the mission is. I know what the destiny is. We're going to get to this. The other two players were just, just kind of chasing rabbit holes and doing stuff. One guy joined a cult. It's like during the middle of the game, he joins his cult and starts doing stuff and, kind of forgetting about the mission. And Connor just kept driving it to the end. And at the end, Connor said, man, I can see why people don't like this, but this is right up my alley. I think it's what you want out of the game. If you want a game that's going to take 4 or 5 hours, you're going to enjoy this. If you want a game that's directed, you just have to stay focused. And when you walk into a castle and a lady walks up to you and says, can you help me figure out who killed my husband? You tell her, no, I'm on a mission. You just tell her no.
That sounds like bait.
No, of course not.
That's bait.
Yeah, that's bait. So
it is.
What's interesting is I wanted to get this game initially, and I said no because I did think like it was going to be a game that was mostly a solo play, mostly 2-3 people, and that's what I've seen. I know that Nick and One Mike One Game and Dan and they played a copy of it at Dice Tower West, and it was like with 6 people, and they didn't like it. So that's definitely out. But like, I want to get into solo gaming. But every time I set up a game, I just go, it's too much. But you say you don't get into solo gaming. You played this 13 times. What is it that really makes you want to play this solo?
Every time there's a solo Euro or a solo big game I want to play, I start to set it up and I go, oh man, it's 8 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm just going to put on Scrubs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like just too easy.
Yep.
Advantage is different. You open up the box, you roll 2 dice, roughly. The game starts right there. The setup, it's ingenious the way Jamie did it. The setup is the game. The game is the setup. The first 3 or 4 moves are really just setup. So there's no, oh man, this is going to take forever. It's like you roll a couple of dice, you already start the story, and then you just start playing. So I don't have that worry about, I might not want to finish the game. And to be honest, Wayne, there's been a couple of nights where I've done half of it and then I just leave it on my dining room table and I come back the next night and I finish it. And there's nothing there. That's not a big problem. But my biggest problem with solo gaming is I just don't want to set up, try carry on and read all the rules and get, it's like an hour before I even start playing it. And I'm constantly looking up rules and all this. And what does the bot do? And what is that? No, there's none of that in this game. You literally open up the box, take 1 card out, and roll 2 dice, and that's it. So there's actually more dice than that, but it's that first dice or the first 1 or 2 dice that get the game started. Kind of tells you what your character is and what you're going to be doing. That's what I want, and I think it was ingenious by Jamie to do that. Still, that's not a game I recommend to everybody. If you don't like story games, if you like Above and Below and Near and Far, but you hate all the reading of the story, or Sleeping Gods, you hate all that, you're gonna hate this game. If you like, I like a tight 60-minute, 90-minute game that's going to go in, go out, you're going to hate this game. It's just, that's not what this is built for. So, but if you like story games and you like open world video gaming and you always want to do it on the tabletop because you don't feel like, your trigger finger isn't very good anymore like mine, then this is a game for you. Vantage.
We're going to have to find a copy of this at Dice Tower East, Wayne.
Yeah, well, actually, I know Daryl, one of our gaming crew. He has it and is not enamored with it. He likes it, says really good, but he doesn't necessarily, take it out of the cars and dig into the cars and whatever. So he was looking to either sell his copy, move it on, but he offered me to borrow it. So I think I'm gonna tell him, hey, bring it next week's game session. Let me borrow it. Let me go try. I think my wife would probably enjoy this because she'll sit and play open world video games for like 10 hours a day if she could. So I like that though, because that's like you said though, I want to play solo games. I try to set up games, and by the time I set it up, I'm bored. I'm like, I just need something to get me into it right away. That seems like a good idea. I think I do need to give it a try.
I'm exactly the same way. Well, I just wanted to extend it one more time. You guys always have an open invitation to buy a badge, pay for a hotel, and buy me and Mitchell dinner at Southern Board Game Fest. I want you to know it's an open invitation.
I definitely want to go. I think you guys were like one. Oh, if I gotta look and see what your dates. Do you know the dates for next year yet?
It'll be at the end of March, roughly. So we haven't announced it yet because we're still working on the contracts. but I can promise you it'll be sometime in the spring and right around March. So
hopefully if it's towards the end of March, because I don't think I'm doing spring break with the family next year. So if it's like that third week in March, then I might be making a trip out there next year.
I think our spring break is going to be the 15th to the 19th of March, 2027. That's the Hillsborough County spring break.
I don't want to recommend it to everybody though. If you don't like good food, if you don't like good people, and you don't like board gaming, you should not come to Southern Board Game Fest. Really, it's not a good place for you.
It was funny. I was on a business trip this past couple of weeks, and I met a guy who's a gamer out there, and I mentioned Rob going to Sobo in Lafayette, and the first thing he said to me is, "Oh, they got good food." Yeah. He doesn't know anything about Sobo, anything about Board Game Gumbo. He just knows that Lafayette, they got good food.
Yeah, I was thinking about all the cons I've been to, and like BGG Con. We walk downstairs, we get chicken fingers. Sometimes they have some decent food, but most of the time we just walk and get some freaking chicken fingers, right? And then here at Southern Board Game Fest, you walk out of the convention and Cousin Joe is making jambalaya or pulled pork French fries or brisket burgers. I mean, it was so good every day, man.
Rob posted a picture of a crawfish boil.
Oh, that's some good stuff right there.
I was like, oh, I'm jelly.
My wife and I love me some New Orleans, so I would be down for that.
Just saying, March 15th. Just remember that, March 15th. Make it around that time frame.
So you're watching the show right now. Take notes. Carlos says March 15th.
Yeah,
that coincides with our spring break. That first year we went, it was that spring break that we were able to drive over there and enjoy it.
Yep.
We really should go to Dice Tower again, though, just to remind Tom that Mitchell is the founding member of the Dice Tower. So
yes,
we need to do that.
If we get him to sign something saying that.
I think you might make my year, BJ, though, if you do make it to Dice Tower East, man, because I think I've been able to game with a lot of people from the show, but I've always missed you. You came to Dice Tower East the one year I missed, and then vice versa. And it's like, so you have to come to Dice Tower East this year because we got to get some games.
That's true. And and you didn't make Sobo that year. If I remember right, something happened. You got sick, and then I've been to Dice Tower 3 or 4 times, but I never seemed to catch you the year. Or we didn't know each other back when I was going. And then that year that I went, you didn't go.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, we got to make that happen. We got to play a game together. That'd be fun.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great show. You guys do a good job. And Wayne, yes, I always notice when you say the founding member in the chat. It always makes me laugh every time you say that. So have a great show, guys.
Thanks BJ. Have a good night.
Okay.
It's caller number 2. Yeah. We're not even a half hour into the show. We're 2 callers deep.
We got Aaron. He completely agree. Advantage is a 2-player max experience for me, but I love the easy setup, simple rule set, and non-campaign system. The setup is so easy. That's why it makes it so good solo for me. And I'm playing a game too. Too many Euro games feel like I'm running solo mode and not really playing the game. Yeah, that's the problem. Is like you play a solo game and like a Euro solo game, and you're playing yourself and somebody else. That's even like Final Girl. I love Final Girl, but the setup of that and then running everything. This could be a good. Where you're not running anything, you're just reading and moving on. You're not really playing against a bot or something like that, which is cool.
Those are all the same reasons I love that Dorfromantic, because it's with Dorfromantic, it's all about the setup is super fast. You just put tiles out on the table, and then you start flipping tiles. You just start building your solo game by flipping tiles. That is the setup is part of the game.
Right.
Thank you, BJ, for the call. Thank you, Mitch, for the call. Folks, keep it going. We got 2 calls on the board. Got the counter behind me. 2 calls already on the board. Looking forward to more as we continue this twig this week in gaming.
In gaming, yeah. Let's see what we got. Where's our notes? There's our notes. Hey, look at that. I don't think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but maybe I did or didn't. But I went to the Tampa Gaming Guild for their Sunday free gaming a couple weeks back. This March has been a rough month between work and then spring break trip. Gaming hasn't been super big, but I played Zolkin, the Mayan calendar, which is awesome because it hammers home the fact that when you play a game physically, you do learn it differently. Then let me share my screen.
I got it.
Oh, there. I've been playing this. I played it once in person. I played it a couple times in person several years ago, I guess. And now lately I've been just mostly playing it on BGA. And it's like I'm having fun playing it, but it's like you don't see the whole board and you're missing some of the connections. So I got to play this in person, and it's like, oh, that's what I was doing wrong on BGA, or oh, that's what I was missing. So it's like I love playing games on BGA, and I play a ton of games on BGA. But what I realize I do need to do is periodically, the games I love to play on BGA a lot, I do need to still play it in person to kind of refresh my mind on what I'm missing or different strategies, because it really comes down to seeing other players' boards. And I know on BGA I could take the time and zoom in on other people's boards and look at the turn and do all that. But that's not really the purpose of BGA for me. The purpose of BGA for me is just volume of play and playing games, having fun. But in Zolkin Mayan calendar, you are placing work. The cool mechanism is you place workers out or pull workers off. So when you place a worker out in one of the 4 locations, after your turn, the dial in the center will turn and your workers move up the tracks. So the longer you leave them placed, the sweeter the spot becomes. And then when you pull them off, you take the action on that space or potentially more. But the more workers you put out at one point in time, the more corn you have to pay for those workers. And you have to make sure you have corn to feed your workers. So there's like this push-pull of getting resources, getting wood, getting stone, getting gold to buy buildings. There are tech tracks, and then there are temple tracks. And so there's lots of tracks, which is great. And so as you move up the temple tracks, they score for victory points and they give you resources. You can get to the crystal skull, and then there's a whole track for placing the crystal skulls. So it's a really fun mechanism. I love the gear, and as things turn around, you're trying to time things. And there was at least once during the game where I was like, "Oh, that was so good!" Like if someone turns the tile one more time, it's going to be the perfect turn, and then they don't turn it, or they turn it twice because they take their there's a spot where you can go to like change the start player, and you get to turn it once or twice, and it blows you past where you want to go. You're like, oh my god, it just screwed me over. So it's a really cool tight game, and it's a great BGA implementation. But having played it in person again, I'm like, I was forgetting to do this, or I was forgetting how important the temples and the technology is, and other things. And like online, I was focusing way too much on getting skulls, and it kind of kills your ability later game because you're not building up resources. So playing this again physically was fun. I enjoyed it, and it just hammered home that like these kind of Euro-y type games like this, you do need to periodically play them in person so you can refresh your brain. At least I do on that when it comes to the BGA implementations. So that's the first one I had for my twig.
And we got Mitch in the chat says, I felt so bad when BJ excitedly taught Logan and me Vantage, and we hated it so much. I'm surprised at that. I figured, I know Connor is an RPG guy, so I can see him loving the open world storiness of it. I thought Mitch would fall in that world a little
theater
bit.
Guy, right? He does too much theater stuff in his day job, so he doesn't want it in his gaming.
I got to play some Orchard. So let me share my screen on this one because I don't have my copy with me. But I got to play Orchard, a 9-card solitaire game. So I was flying back and forth to North Carolina, and I figured I'd take something small with me. I was able to get this game to the table. Let me see if I can get this image up here of let's see. I can't get that image up. It's me in the airport at one of the chairs with that tiny little table next to you.
Right.
That's how small of a table you need to play Orchard. Orchard is just that, a 9-card solitaire game. You get these 9 cards that have fields on them. In those fields are 6 different spots of trees that bear 3 different types of fruit. The type of fruits available are pears, apples, and plums. And the goal is to overlay cards on top of other cards that have already been played. You'll have 2 cards in your hand, and one will seed the board. And then you take one of those 2 cards and you try to lay it on top of trees that are already on the board. But you have to do it in a way that the colors match. And when you do that, when you lay another card on top of a card that matches the color, you get to add a die on top of that fruit-bearing tree that matches that color. It'll roll up the first time you overlay to 1. The second time you get an overlay over that same exact spot, it rolls up to 3. And then the third time you do it, it rolls to 6. So you can get up to 6 points if you're able to work it so that you can overlay a card 3 times on that tree. It's simple, it's fast. It's 9 cards in the whole deck. You're playing one card at a time. One's on the table, so you really only get, I think, 8 turns that you're taking, and then you score it up. I have to recommend it as a solo travel game, small area. It fits the bill. Like, it does its job. It can be played on an airplane table tray if necessary. If your flight is smooth enough, you can get it played on a small space. Orchard, the 9-card solitaire game.
Nice. That looks cool. And it's that's cool because it's travelable and it's something you can set up pretty easily and just play anywhere.
Yes,
which is good.
I currently have 2 copies because you can play multiplayer if you have 2 copies. So one player flips, the other player finds that same card, and then you kind of almost like a flip and right.
Let's be honest though, if you couldn't play it multiplayer, you'd still probably have 2 copies.
Okay, the 2-player in the rules was just the excuse to buy the second copy. Just saying, let's be honest. Orchard.
Exactly. All right, I'll do one of mine. That same game day, I got to play Wingspan Americas with the little hummingbirds, and we played with the Nectar board from the was that the Oceania expansion. Man, I really like. I love that combo of expansions. The Oceania board and some of the birds from that have the nectar, which is a wild resource, and Wingspan Americas with the hummingbirds. It really sped up the game. Not sped up the game. It really ramped up your ability to play birds, because getting the nectar and that wild resource really makes it easier to play birds. And when you play it with Wingspan America, it kind of covers up the end game piece of it, where you can kind of keep nectar from turn to turn. So it made it really nice. And the hummingbirds really kind of were cool. Trying to time your ability to, activate a row and send a bird back and then grab another bird to move up tracks and hit things. I didn't do so well at that as some of the other players, which was good because I focused on the nectars and stuff and playing a bunch of birds down instead of doing the hummingbird action as much. And then I ended up winning, but the guy who did focus on the hummingbirds came in second by a very small amount. So it was a very balanced game. All of us had a ton of birds played, and some of the powers were super cool. The in-between turn and once between turns, and just all of the newer powers that you saw in Oceania and now in the Americas expansion really kind of made it a lot more interactive. There was a lot more things of, well, when I triggered something, it triggered somebody else's board, or when every turn, everyone else was proccing a bunch of individual stuff, which was really cool. It made the game very interactive and just fun. And I'm a huge fan of Wingspan to begin with, but I think I will definitely want to play more America's expansion, and I definitely like the America's expansion where it covers up the end piece of the Oceania board, so that the nectar just becomes a wild resource, which is pretty darn cool. So Wingspan's a great game. The expansions have all been great. I think this is actually a pretty cool expansion that is fairly easy to integrate into the game system. I think everyone had a good time with it. Yeah, there was no one who really got stuck behind anything, so it was pretty cool. So, Wingspan Americas definitely a buy for me. If you own Wingspan, this is a good expansion to have.
Guess what, Wayne? Guess what?
Yeah, guess what?
Friend of the show, Jamie Stegmeyer, sent us a copy. This copy right here that I just displayed of Wingspan America's expansion for us to demo out and to talk about. And this, Wayne, is going to go into April's event that we're doing here on the show. I'll announce it now. In the month of April, what we're going to do is we're going to do anyone that calls in to the show in the month of April, you're going to get your name put in a raffle for one of the many games that we're going to add to the giveaway list for April. This copy of Wingspan, straight from Jamie Stegmeyer's hands, he touched this. Actually, he didn't. I'm sure his people put it in a box and sent it to me. But either way, this copy of America's expansion for Wingspan is going to be given away at the end of April. Once we get all our 4 episodes done, if you call in April, you're going to get it put in the raffle for that. I'm going to throw in that raffle, we're going to throw in that second copy of Orchard, the 9-card solitaire game. I'm going to put that in there. You get extra entries for being the first, is what Mitch is asking. Do you get extra entries for being first?
Yeah, but he called in March, not April, so it doesn't matter.
Next week, let's see how you do. First caller gets 2 entries. How about we do that? First caller gets 2 entries, and then every caller each week gets an entry, and then at the end of the month, we will randomly assign games and ship them out to you from our call of all these extra games that I seem to find a way to buy. Oh, international. I don't know. What time is it in Greece when we do our show?
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Now, are you bringing Santorini to play in Santorini?
Huh?
Yeah. We got a comment from New Board Over Steve here saying you can also play it solo on BGA. I'm thinking he's talking about Zolkin there, but we'll see if you could clarify that. But then we got the recently played Wormspan, which I have. That's the one I haven't played it. I own a copy, but haven't played it for the first time. We'll probably never go back to Wingspan. And I have everything except the Americas. And he said, not having to mess with the dice was nice. See, that would be my one complaint about Wingspan is sometimes the dice can be against you. And that's why I really think I really loved the combo of having the Oceania board with the Americas expansion, because it has that wild nectar that's a wild, which makes the bird feeder, not as bad. And there's a lot of birds in the Americas expansion that let you re-roll the food in the bird feeder.
I haven't even cracked my copy of Oceania. I think I need to do that.
Orchard, you can play Orchard on BGA.
There you go.
I'm gonna have to give that a shot now. Yeah. So I kind of agree. Like, I think my one problem with base Wingspan is that the dice, if you don't have the food you need the birds for the certain food. And that's what I think. Like I said, I'm going back to, I've repeated myself, sorry, but the Oceania expansion with the Americas lets you have those wild resources, and the Americas expansion has a lot of birds that I thought let you re-roll the dice. So, like, I really can't remember a time during that whole game where I didn't have the right food combination in some respect, whether it's wild or whatever, to play the birds I was looking for, which I think kind of solved that issue and made it a lot smoother there. It's kind of like why I also really like Finspan, because there's no bird feeder, but I think so I certainly think that maybe giving Wingspan a try with Oceania and Americas would be a good little combo there. So, yep.
Barry Rosas, BJ, says, Mitch, you should play Carcassonne in Santorini and take a picture for social media just to throw people off.
It would be like, you'd see like the people getting triggered on that. They'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing? That's the wrong place." I like it.
Play it on top of the box of Santorini, just to really throw that little jab in there.
Mitchell said I'm going to Santorini, assume we find a copy there. I don't know, maybe not. You would think that they should sell copies of Santorini in Santorini. That would be a good thing, but
any gift shop vendor would probably be smart to stock that.
Yep. All right, you're up now, man. I want to hear Flamecraft.
Okay, let's start with like Flamecraft. Mm-hmm. So this copy I got at the Tampa Gaming Guild flea market in shrink retail version, and I got my copy played. So I made 2 trips to North Carolina this past 2 weeks for work. In the first trip, I took Flamecraft with me for the family. We played in the hotel lobby because they had the bigger tables there. First thing I will say, so what is Flamecraft? Flamecraft is I would say a family weight worker placement game.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit above family weight. But holy moly, the table size you need to play this thing.
It has a little bit of a table hog, yeah.
It's got, so I was excited because I love bling in games. I'm a big fan of games that come with like upgrades already built into the system. And Flamecraft does that with the board. It has a neoprene mat that you lay down to represent the town. But this thing's got to be 4.5 feet long. Like it is definitely not 3 feet. It's longer than 3 feet, shorter than 5 feet, somewhere over there. And it took up the majority of the board. You're using these tiny epic, game size cards. Most tiny epic games have those like 4x6 cards. So it does take up a little bit of room. So outside of that, gameplay wise, we played late because it was I had to work that day. When we got back from work, we had dinner, and then by the time we got to the table, it was like past 9:00. Took us a couple of hours to get it played. 3 players with Teach, my first play. So I'm kind of going through the rule book as I'm playing through it. But it wasn't that hard to teach, and it wasn't that hard to get the family on board. The hard part was grokking how to win, because it's one of those resource conversion type games in the vein of like Caravan, also known as a Golem. Century, that's the game, Century. It was originally called Caravan when Rob and I play tested it like 15 years ago. It's one of those type of conversion games where you're getting a resource and you need to collect certain types of resources to then convert them into points based on cards that are available. So you can take a lot of actions that don't move you towards the end of the game, right? You got to take the right actions to get the right resources to be able to buy the right point cards to trigger that. And then the end game is based on doing that. There isn't a timer in the game. There's nothing that's like timing the game down except for the player's motions towards the end of the game.
Right.
So if you're just getting resources but not getting enchantments, which are the cards that give you points.
Enchantments or buildings, once those decks are out, it kind of is the end game trigger, right?
Yeah, but if you're not buying dragons and you're not placing the right ones in the right place and you're not buying enchantments, the game can go a little long. So I'll warn you on that. Outside of that, wifey was like, I'd play that again. My son won the game. He was the first one to figure out how to really get it moving, because he wanted to get back upstairs to his Switch and his Xbox to play games. So he's like, I'm going to end this thing. I'm going to push the ending. And he did, and it scored a bunch of points. I walked away with it. It was deeper than I thought, because Rob had given it that Rob thing that he does. You know that thing that Rob does when a game isn't Brass Birmingham?
Yeah.
It's too light.
It's too light, yeah.
I would not call this too light.
No, it's definitely. I think it's in the same realm of like Creature Comforts from Kids Table Board Games. It's in that family weight, but a little bit chunk. It's like if you're a gaming family, it's your weight for, if you have a couple of younger kids or you get preteens, that 8 to 14-year-old. It's in that realm, because the cuteness of it can be deceiving, because it's cute, but there's that going to a building and activating it and then comboing off of the cards where you've powered up and put like enchantments on a shop, and where you can kind of move things along. So it can be a little chunky, but it's not super complex.
What's cool is that the enchantments play 2 roles in this game. One is the scoring, right? You're going to get most of your points from fulfilling enchantments, right? 2 is the engine building aspect. When you fulfill that enchantment, you upgrade a shop. So next time you visit that shop, it's giving you more resources for visiting that shop. So it's like engine building and scoring at the same time. So you really want to push the enchantments on the game. I found that it also has the fancy dragons, which are your like secret objectives. So my wife kept buying the fancy dragons because they're pretty. She kept getting those fancy dragons. But if you can't meet the criteria at the end of the game for them, you can't really score them. So it's like this balance of where do I go for my points is interesting. I liked it. This is going on the shelf of Within Reach, because if you've ever been in the studio, I'm trying to find a camera, there are many games that are not within reach. and this is not going to be one of those games that's going to go into that zone of not within reach. This is going to be a game that's going to be within reach. I
figure, there's lovers and haters of Flamecraft, right? And I'm more towards the lover side of it, because it is a nice, fun game. It's pretty. I figured you would enjoy it, because I figured your wife and your kid and as a family unit, it would be the kind of game you guys can play. And once you've played it once, I know like it's late, you're at a hotel, you're first learning the game. If you play it enough, it can be pretty snappy. So
that's my hope, is that we can get that game, that playtime down, and my son having grokked it already, getting him into the next one. I think those games are going to fly.
Yeah. I mean, Mitchell said 3 hours of Flamecraft, amateur hour, so.
But you know how we do in Florida, Mitch? We don't do that time warp that y'all somehow managed to get, Terraforming Mars done in an hour. We don't, I don't understand that.
I'm still more of a Mitch guy when it comes to that, but yeah.
Somebody's got to be. And that's what's good about Flamecraft. Anyone who wants to buy a bunch of dragons and get fancies and have fun, just like exploring the town, go for it. As long as there's one person pushing the end game, it'll end on time.
On time. Yep. So just got a lot of that little conversation spurred a lot of comments. So we got Aaron Clark saying, hoping to give Wingspan Americas a try this weekend. Excited to hear what you think of it. I really was enjoying it. So hopefully everyone else does. BJ saying that Mitchell is in Flamecraft like a 90-minute game for us. I think that's pretty accurate. I think 90 minutes is about right once you've played it a few times.
But that's a good game night. I think 90 minutes is a good game night game.
Yeah, I think so. So it's a pretty family La Havre, and that's resource. Get some resources to expand resources, and it's kind of similar, I guess. Yeah.
Well, the more I thought about it, right, the more I read the rules again multiple times during that trip to make sure I grokked it. The more I thought this game could be set in medieval times using peasants and as artisans, right? You got these artisans you're working with, and then the fancy dragons could just be nobles. So I can see where somebody may have come up with this game, but then my understanding is that they found this artwork from this artist on these dragons and wanted to turn it into a game. And I think they did a great job of that. They incorporated something that is not your normal trading in the Mediterranean La Havre style Euro game, made it pretty, made it fun, but it still has, for what I felt, would be like a Euro game.
And I think what spurred you to pick this up was the conversation we had, because we a month ago during the show we talked about how Flamecraft has sold like I think it was 300,000 or 400,000
copies. That news article,
and you like crazy. And then Rob was like, "Oh, it's it's too light of a game." Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, "I like it. I own a copy of it. I enjoy it. It's a good family game. It's like it's in that kids table board gaming weight, and that precipitated you buying it." So,
and I thank you for that.
Yeah, we got Pablo saying, "Me not fully understanding the end game made me lose my first and only game so far." So yeah, I think it could be so.
And ditto. That was me and wifey. We both lost because we were kind of playing our own thing. When my son realized how to pull the end game, and he had no problem giving away points or giving away resources to get points. Yeah. We were being greedy. Wifey and I were like, I don't want to give you anything. I can give up to 3 of them. You can have one. You can have one. I don't want to set you up for a good turn. My son was like Salt Bay, just sprinkling resources on us, turning them into points, and he was just lapping us on the board. It was great.
Yeah, cool. BJ's asking why didn't Stillmeyer call Wormspan Flamespan? Corbett
added to the universe.
Copyrighted. Yeah.
Cardboard Alchemy, they copyrighted what? All the games with flame.
Yeah. I doubt that's the case, but that'd be funny if they did. It's like the guy who tried the German company that copyrighted Meeple or something like that recently. Yeah. So.
I like Steve's comment here.
Yeah. Okay.
That Steve in the chat, Steven says, that's what crushes Terraforming Mars for me. The player dependence for ending the game. I prefer SETI and UWC in the giant pile of cards genre for that reason. UWC.
Is that Underwater Cities?
Underwater Cities. There it is. Yes, because Rob and I will play 4 hours of Terraforming Mars. No problem. We are just happy building engines and not even touching the planet.
Yeah, I'm out. That's why I prefer SETI. That's an interesting thing is like, with Flamecraft, you could just keep playing and not really pushing the end game, but Terraforming Mars, pushing it for 4 hours, that's crazy, man. Because at a certain point, when is the engine enough?
Well, Mitch says on turn 1, like you terraform. He says the it's in the name. Yeah, terraforming.
Push it. I would agree, but it is what it is. So
it's like playing viticulture and not making wine. Dan. My understanding that is the Bordeaux
does you really have to make wine in that. And it really pushes you to make wine. So where I think certainly the Americas expansion definitely takes away the egg strategy for Wingspan, where it's just like the last 4 turns you're just spamming egg building because there's a lot of other things to do and a lot of other way to get points. I think Viticulture Bordeaux really does push you down the road of making wine and doing things with that, and not just playing the card game and never making wine the entire game type thing. So,
BJ says, I like Flamecraft the 2 times I played it. I thought it would be a perfect day night game with the Snow Bunny. I love how he spells it, but it remains unopened because she just wants to play Arnag. And my wifey also loves Arnag. That is something that she continues to ask for, and I'm like, well, let's try something new. I know I spent all that money on that big box and all the expansions, but Steven says you can win without making wine. Yes, you can.
And although the Bordeaux expansion really pushes you towards making wine, because when it gives you start the game with some wine and grapes, and if you move up the wine, the residuals track, which is from making wine, you get more victory points, and you start with most of your fields already sold. So like a big strategy sell your fields, build the thing to get cards, and just start milling cards. Kind of makes it a little pushes you towards not doing that as much. So.
Mitch says Tuscany got added to BGA recently. Who's essential now? I know we have that debate on which is the better version of viticulture, the Tuscany or the Essentials. I'm an Essentials fan because my brain can't think 6 seasons. I don't understand how you have a board with 6 seasons. It's not 6, but it feels like 6. My brain hurts.
Right.
Steven says 2 new maps for Arnak are very cool and very fun. That corruption mechanism,
I need to play
that a la Lords of Waterdeep corruption mechanism, kind of has me wanting to play the expansions.
I have not played the expansions yet. I have them, but I haven't played them, so I definitely want to get those done. So.
And now BJ comes in with Mitch. You play Tuscany in Santorini, and I'll play Santorini in Tuscany.
And then
that's a challenge.
And then someone can play Carcassonne in.
Listen, I played Orleans in New Orleans.
Carcassonne and Le Havre. Someone in Orleans can play. Yeah.
Really Pablo pops in Terraforming Mars. If one person or more start focusing in card points with in-card victory points or token combos, the game gets substantially longer. And even longer when both Rob and I go into the card points thing. A lot of chatter today. I love it.
Yeah, I like it.
That was my play of Flamecraft.
I've never played TM with you and Rob. So
it's horrible, brother. Like we do drafting.
Oh, drafting's
and
fine.
we just engine build the whole time. That's practically it.
What we need to do at Dice Tower East then is you and Rob, and then Mitchell and I can play a game of Terraforming Mars. And we'll see how that
2 or 3 games of Terraforming Mars in while we're still finishing our one.
Correct.
Drafting that is the wrongest take I've heard all year.
I disagree with that. I love
for those listening. Mitch pops in saying drafting is the worst Terraforming Mars variant, and brother, no, it is essential. Yeah, along with Prelude, drafting and Prelude
drafting really do make it easy. The game, I hate getting the 4 cards and you don't want to use any of them. You're like
right,
like.
And I am right about viticulture, says BJ. It's in the name. It's essential. It's in the name. It's essential. And there's a reason it's a variant. Had it not been a variant, it would have been in the rules of the standard rule. And then are we giving out prizes for worst takes ever? No, because Mitch would take them all. And if you don't draft, you play less cards, shorter time. That's true because you're buying a lot less cards.
If you do the draft and buy the right cards, then you can push the ending faster.
Egg before chicken, chicken before egg.
6-7.
Dice Tower East, here we come. Let's go. Yeah. We're gonna have to time that.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Play like 2 player games. How many TM games can Mitchell and I complete before Rob and Carlos finish one?
And yes, Mitchell is in the Beans and Dice Hall of Pain, says Board Game Gumbo.
Yeah. So the only other game that I played this month, unfortunately, because it's been a slow month, is we have gotten in another week of our Pandemic Legacy Season 0. I think we're in February now. So it's getting fun, getting exciting. Don't want to spoil anything because the game's been out for a while, but don't want to spoil it. But it's been real fun. We actually accidentally handicapped ourselves because after we finished February, we realized that at the end of January we didn't do the purchasing of like additional, because in Pandemic you have your character sheet and you can kind of purchase perks or separate different benefits, and we totally just didn't do that after the last game session. So we played the whole month of February having not done any of our enhancement purchasing. So at the end of February we ended up doing 2 months of it, but so far I'm really liking it. It's clearly building up to and leading into season 1, right? So if you played Legacy Season 1, the end game, what's going to happen. But it's just sort of interesting that in Legacy 0, it's not a huge spoiler. You're playing it. It's like the 1950s, 60s. So it's, during the height of the Cold War. And instead of fighting the pandemic like you would in Season 1, you're working for you don't work for the CDC, you work for the CIA, and you are traveling around the world and you're trying to combat the spies. And obviously the Russians are up to no good. And so you're traveling around the world kind of fighting them, and you're creating an alias. And it's cool because you have these little stickers and you create like a little different face. And in your passport, you can get different aliases. So you can use different, characters and character strengths. So it's a pretty cool game. I'm enjoying it so far, playing with Rob, Daryl, and Sam. So we're going to play again next week. So we'll get March done next week as well. So that's kind of cool. So
I love it how you establish the Russians are up to no good as usual.
As usual.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's like the standard bad guy.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Mitch pops in with Fate of the Fellowship when he says, speaking of Pandemic, I haven't had a chance to try it out. My understanding, it is the most deep version of Pandemic. And each version of Pandemic that I've been playing that's gotten deeper has got me kind of like shying away from the deeper Pandemics. Mitch, I'll have to hear from you later some other time on your thoughts on that. If it's still worth it, is it still lightweight enough to enjoy?
I tried the BGA implementation and was lost. I definitely need to play in person.
Tried twice, did the tutorial. I couldn't figure it out. I moved on.
Yep. BJ, good night, man. Appreciate
Thank you, BJ, for watching and for calling in.
Yeah.
Good night, homie.
It's at bedtime. So
Steven says, last night we have a game night, played Project L, Square One. I love this. It's a twig in the chat. Rebirth. I got to play that. I saw Dan and Mike posted a picture of Rebirth out in Dice Tower West. And it's a big word, bro. Rebirth is such a great game. So he's even like, it's on my wish list.
It's a good one.
I just don't know how many. I'm so out of room now. I like the special puzzle of Project L best.
Yeah, I've never played Project L, but it's interesting. I've seen it and just never gotten to play it, so it looks pretty cool. But I've told you before, Carlos, we could easily make room. You have a lot of expansions and empty boxes and things we can move.
Well, come April, I'm going to give away a bunch of stuff. Hopefully, what's going to suck is every caller, whether they like it or not, I'm shipping you something. So I'm making room in this game room. Mitchell says, dude, I think it's my favorite game. Speaking of Fate of the Fellowship Pandemic series, he says it's his favorite co-op game ever. That's a statement. Ever.
Well, that just means you got to come to Dice Tower East and teach us.
Because he says you got to play it live, not on BGA.
Yep.
Would you recommend playing season 0, 1, 2?
Oh, that's a good one.
In that order.
So I would probably go 0, 1, 2. Actually, if you've never played any of the Pandemic Legacies, and it's hard to say because I've played all of 1, and it's awesome.
Yes, it was great. I started 2, and it waned on us.
I started 2, we just didn't get a chance to finish it because an actual pandemic happened.
Same for us. It was our group. The pandemic actually hit. We stopped playing.
Back to it, yeah.
But it never drew me back in. Like I never wanted to go back to it. I was like, okay, I'm glad this pandemic is here. Kind of, maybe.
Yeah.
So I don't have to finish this game.
It's hard to say. I think honestly, probably 1 is the better to play first.
I'm glad you said it. I was going to disagree with you, and you said it. And the reason I say that is because it is the most like Pandemic.
It is the most like Pandemic, and there's spoilers in that I think if you played 0 first, it would spoil some of the things coming up in Pandemic Legacy 1. Yeah,
it would be like watching Star Wars Episode 3 and then going to 4 and finding out, he's his father.
Yeah, like you already know the dad. Yeah. So I would probably do it I would definitely do 1 and then 0 because I think 0 is a little bit better than 2. I think 2 is probably the weakest of the 3. But I haven't played the whole thing. So
I would go like Wayne said, I'd do 1 and then based on what I'm hearing 0 and then you could just stop there. Like I think you could just stop there.
If you want to play all 3, I would go 0. I would go 1, 0, 2. Yeah, that would be my guess. Yep.
We got Muzar, I think from Israel, if I remember correctly. Thank you for keeping us international. That's an achievement right there. I'm playing Too Many Bones, but thought about getting out viticulture afterwards. That's hardcore, bro. Like, what time is it over there right now? I got a world timer. I got my Casio world timer watch. We'll go find out what time it is over there. He's
probably
getting 2 games in one night.
10 hours ahead? It's probably in the morning, probably like 8 a.m. maybe.
I'm going to keep selecting this mode button until I get back to that part of the world. Let's see. Got more chats coming in here. Steven says, 2 of my sons and I played the heck out of World of Warcraft Pandemic game. It was pretty easy, but the theme made it fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
I tried to play it once. It was very light, but you're right. It's the theme on that one that makes that one good.
Yep. 5 a.m. Okay. 5 a.m.
5 a.m. and
Nice. I
still
like it.
gaming.
I like it.
See, Pablo says, for the people that have not seen Star Wars, tell them to watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just because everybody knows Vader's Luke's father. However, not everyone knows Anakin is Vader. Valid.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
you guys move clocks too? They just moved the clock tonight. You guys moved that. We gotta end that trend.
We do gotta just end that, man. Come on.
I heard that Georgia just voted. My son told me this. Georgia just voted to.
We did that years ago,
but we haven't enacted it yet.
It needs congressional approval.
Oh.
Yeah. So a state can vote to end daylight savings, but and there's like.
But why does Arizona get to do what they do?
Because they did it way back in the day when it got passed through Congress. So like in the last, I don't know the exact number, so don't quote me. Someone could look it up and get the actual number. But a number of states, like let's say 10 or 15 states in the last 10 years or whatever, have all voted to end daylight savings. But you need Congress to actually approve it.
And they can't get their stuff together to pass anything.
Congratulations. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was so worried flying, brother. You have no idea with the TSA and all the issues, LaGuardia, having that plane crash.
Ooh, that was
like, and you know I hate flying. Brother, I drove to North Carolina and back, and I only flew because I had to.
But yeah, not everybody does daylight savings, and they all do it at different times. So like when we did our cruise, and we were on daylight savings time, so we didn't have to change any clocks going through the Caribbean, but sometimes of the year you do have to change your clocks because the rest of the Caribbean, some parts of the Caribbean don't do daylight savings. So
yeah, I don't think Puerto Rico does, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So
Mitch says we are flying out of Houston next week, which has been about a 4+ hour wait time.
That's nothing
for the TSA.
To be in Atlanta and be there for a day. Like there were people in Atlanta that were waiting 9 hours.
Pablo says my $100 global entry card with the TSA pre-check is basically useless right now.
But again, I got to talk big about Tampa. Tampa has the best airport in America.
I will tell you, I had the longest
Hands
wait at TIA, Tampa International Airport, for the first time in my life.
What?
Guess how much time, Wayne? Guess.
10 minutes.
No, it was 25.
25. That's
but
crazy.
That's still pretty good.
I know.
I got there 2 hours early, brother.
Yeah, my brother flew in and flew out during spring break because he came to care for mom, and I dropped him to the airport at 4 p.m. on Saturday, and before I even got home, which is a 20-minute drive home, he's like through security. It's like, okay.
Yeah, the problem was that the first Sunday that the checks didn't go through, I think, was the Sunday of spring break. So like, it took a week for the issues to build up.
Yeah, but at Tampa Airport,
it's amazing,
security,
dude. I now going through multiple airports. I go to other airports. I'm like, this is garbage. This is garbage compared to Tampa.
Granted, I haven't traveled in the last couple of years because of my mom, but like for work, I was traveling 3, 4, 5 times a year to conferences all over the country. And so over a 10 or 15 year period, I've been to at least 70, 80 airports around this country. Tampa Airport is the best. They were the first ones to do free Wi-Fi for everybody. Now everyone's doing it. The security lines, the food, all the local restaurants that have bars and restaurants in the thing, just fantastic. Best airport around.
All right, Mitch is not wrong. He says it's almost time for OGG. We will do OGG before news. That way Mitch can go to bed over there in Lafayette.
Yeah.
But I have a couple games left on my Twig. I'll be quick about them. Actually, I have one game left on my Twig.
That's it, yeah.
But it's really a couple games, Wayne. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I bought 2 of them. So let's go to the table. So check this out. Before I left for business trip, I found out about this game. I think I mentioned it last show, that Flamecraft Duels with an A, Duals, to try to make it like friendlier. Flamecraft Duels was starting to show up on people's feeds, and I found it, and it was like $35 or something. So I scooped it up real quick. I was super excited to get it. Then I got it like the day that I left, that Saturday when I left, Wayne. Oh, and I got a story to tell about that. We'll do that post game towards the end of the show. I will tell y'all probably the most horrific like story I've ever like the scariest like thing that could happen to your kid story happened that Saturday that I was leaving. We were leaving for spring break in North Carolina. Back to the table. That's not the table. That's where Rob sits. Back to the table. Flamecraft Duels showed up, and I opened it, and I'm like, this looks nothing like everything I saw in the videos. Where's my cool box? Where's my like? This is just the game with a board. So this is Flamecraft Duels. It's a 2-player game that represents what the dragons do in between visiting shops. They go and they play this little game. It's like a bag drawing game where you're going to draw chits and place them on the board, and each dragon that gets placed on the board maneuvers in a certain way. There's a card that tells you.
So it's kind of like Hive.
Yes, kind of very much like Hive, Wayne. Good analogy. Every dragon, when you place it, gets to fire up its ability, and it does something different when it fires up its abilities. Some dragons say when you place it next to another dragon, so for example, here's this blue dragon, and I'm going to place this red dragon. It says I'm allowed to move one adjacent dragon to any space on the board, right? So that's the kind of stuff these dragons would do. This green dragon, when you place him, it allows you to fire up the ability of an adjacent dragon. So you're doing all this stuff on the board by placing dragons, and what you're trying to do is fulfill your shops. Players are going to draw shops from the board. Every shop is going to have a pattern. So color, right? 3 colors, usually 3s, in a pattern. And so I can get a line of steel, and potion, I can then score this card. You'll see some of them are in triangle shapes. So like here's meat. If I can get a triangle of meat. And you can go up to 3 high on a stack. That's the maximum height. So whatever's showing on the top of the board, you're just trying to get these objective cards. And then there's these fountain cards. So it's one of these variants, but it's a good variant because this is what takes it from super light to more strategic, that are harder to reach, but they have more points. So that's easy, simple game to play. And I'm like, man, this is nothing like I saw on the board. But I took it with me because it was my only option. Played it solo out in North Carolina and really enjoyed the solo puzzle of it, and regretted not finding the version that I saw online that got me to buy this game to begin with. So when I was online, I found that the deluxe version is only like $10 more, Wayne. It's only $10 more.
Only.
So while in North Carolina, I went ahead and ordered and this one is going into the April giveaway. So if you call in April, this retail copy of Flamecraft Duels with an A. So it's just like the Beans and Dice show. We have an A in our Beans and Dice show, and that A-hole is Wayne. You will be able to get a copy of Flamecraft Duels, but this is a copy that arrived while I was away. So I was able to take it with me on my second trip to North Carolina. So this one rode with me, Wayne. This is the cool one.
Oh, look at that little box.
Look at this. This is why I bought it. Watch this. I'm gonna flip this, and boom, there's your board. Right in the box.
As Carlos would say, placata.
You got little tuck boxes, right? The cards here, Wayne, they're that plastic, that Radlands plastic.
Not linen finish, not cool linen finish.
The other ones are linen finish, but these are the plastic. You don't have to worry about them getting wet. You don't got to sleeve them. They're tough as nails. Coins are metal. You hear that?
Nice. Yeah.
That's metal coins, not a wooden piece. It's a plastic fountain piece, and it all goes back into its little cubby hole. They come with laser etched card holders, Wayne. Each player gets a card holder, so you don't have to hold your shop cards in your hand. You got a card holder, stand them up, slip them in there, and boom, your hands are free. You're playing duels. And then on the other side of the board is where the bag and the plastic acrylic pieces are kept.
That's pretty nice. I like that. That's cool.
Just for how the what do you call this, production value alone is why I wanted this, which is why you can feel my disappointment when I opened this and I pulled out a board. When I opened the base box and I pulled out a board, you can see my disappointment. So this is the copy that I played as well. So I've got 2 games of this in. It is I know that the Dice Tower I think they have 6s and 7s at best. I'm not in disagreement with them. This is not going to be like a 9 out of 10 game for me.
Right.
It is going to, and small and convenient and fast and family weight, but also I'm looking forward to playing this against another gamer to kind of get the feels of how tactical can it be? How like tough can it be when we're playing it like we're doing with the Hexbug game?
Mm-hmm.
Hive. So that was Flamecraft Duels.
Cool.
This one is going into the pile of giveaways. And then finally, I took with me my copy of Battles of the American Revolution, which I did not get to play with any human, but I did bust it out, punched it, set it up, and played kind of a solo game. It's not really intended to be a solo, but I just played 2-handed. But really, it's like having Memoir 44 style wargaming in this small little box. This is it. The 2 scenarios. They give you all the units you need for the 2 different scenarios. One is Freeman's Farm, and one is Oriskany, which was the British and the Native Americans against the U.S. as the U.S. tried to the Continental Army tries to escape. And it comes with tiny little chits and dice. So it's just a little tiny war game in a pocket box. So
that's pretty cool, though.
It is. This series from Worthington Press has been so cool with these small box war games that I can take anywhere. But it was because I went to that Revolutionary War battlefield out in North Carolina, got me super stoked to play a Revolutionary War game. So I took Battles of the American Revolution with me. Which brings me up to the question that Daryl posed.
Ooh,
so I'll put this out there right now and see what the chat says. Daryl asked in our Beans and Dice group, what do you do when you receive a game and there's damage to the box? So you get a game, look at this game here, and mine came with this cover kind of crushed. It wasn't the fault of the publisher, which I bought it from. It wasn't the fault of the seller. It's the fault of the shipping company that damaged the box. I looked at it and I was upset about it because it's more than just cosmetic. Like, it was a puncture in the box.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough for me to like complain to the publisher because I believe in like fault. Like the publisher wrapped it, bubble wrapped it, but somehow UPS or USPS crushed it. Like, what do we do in that situation as gamers?
So I know my answer.
What's your answer, Wayne?
My answer is I would like, is the game playable?
Yes.
Move on.
That's what I did. I moved on.
And to me, I like that puncture there. I would view that as like a little project. Like, let me sit down, let me get some tape, some glue, some Elmer's, get the old white glue out, whatever it is, right?
Some brown paint.
Some brown paint. I would view it as a little project. Let's repair that. Let's get in there, poke it back out, smooth it out, put some tape. I've gotten boxes that have the corner rip before. And I will not yuck on anyone's yum. If you want pristine boxes and that's your thing, okay, great. To me, it's like, is the game still playable?
And I'm not a reseller. I don't resell games.
And even if I resell it, okay, I'm reselling it with a damaged corner. Take $10 off the price, right, or whatever it is.
We're down to $2.
Yeah, I don't care, right? If I'm selling a game, I'm selling a game. But now I would say this though. Pablo was just hit the point I was going to make. Like, if I'm buying like a Castles of Burgundy and I spent $200 on this deluxeified game and it came all damaged, I'd probably be like, all right, yeah. But if it's a retail game or an Amazon game or a general Kickstarter, I'm going to live with it, right? I'm not going to, because to ship an empty box is more expensive than shipping the whole game in many cases. And publishers have to open up and take all the components out. And so I would just,
and I know that like wargaming publishers have such small margins to begin with.
Yeah.
Like it's a niche of a hobby. I wasn't willing to do that.
Yeah.
So hopefully Daryl pops in the chat or
hears this. Listens to us on replay. I think in general, and it'd be interested. It really would be interesting to see, like, y'all please comment what you would do. Like, I would just do it as a project to try to fix it myself.
Yeah, I put a little tape on the inside of the box to make sure that no pieces fall out, and then paint the outside a little bit with some brown paint, like Sharpie marker, and I think I'm going to be good. What's Steven say here? Steven says, I only was upset and reached out to the publisher when my Vindication Mega Box came with a crushed corner to which there was a hole in the box. That's exactly what Pablo and Wayne are talking about. Your had my Flamecraft duels showed up like that, like the fancy duels, I probably would have said something. Because this, to me, the reason I bought it is because of the aesthetics.
The aesthetics, yeah.
Thank you guys for commenting in there. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Especially when their initial game was so well protected. This one, what? Because the box was bigger, which probably made it harder for them to protect it. So that I do blame that on the shipper, on the publisher. If the publisher isn't putting the right protections, I mean, Foundations of Rome shipped so well protected.
That's
hard
Arcane
corners,
Wonders, right? That's
yes.
Arcane Wonders. Yeah. I think Arcane Wonders, Stonemaier Games, and what's the other one I'm trying to remember? There's one other company that when you buy from them, it's protected. That if something happens to that game in the box,
somebody really messed up.
Someone really messed up, But yeah.
Paulo says, my black/gold Kemet big box had some bubbles. Decided to let it go, but was close to putting in a request and that he might regret it later. If there is looks like a split that runs down the corner, I have gotten great at wood gluing it back together. You can barely tell it was damaged. I'm with you. I've seen that, a little bit of tape on the inside and some glue on the outside, and it kind of holds that thing together well.
What's the Mod Pod or whatever Mod Podge that you can use? I think the story I have is I remember Endangered, which is a cooperative game about saving animals. It has a bunch of scenarios. When I got the base game of it, there was a puncture through the bottom of the box, like literally, it looked like a spike went through it, and I kind of just took everything out of the box and I slowly pushed it all back flat, and I laid it flat on the inside of the box, and I taped it back down, and then flipped the box back over on the top, and then kind of just even used a little clear Elmer's glue and kind of glued it back down. And I was like, it's not the manufacturer, that kind of stuff. It's clear that that was a shipping issue, and I could send it back to the manufacturer, and then they would have to go do an insurance claim with the shipper, and it's the game's still playable. I'm not gonna generally make an issue, but if my Castles of Burgundy or a year and a half from now when my Concordia special edition comes damaged, it's going back.
And no tape needed, says Steven. Just a little bit of wood glue will hold it together. Yep. Maybe even 3D print my own magnetic box for it. Okay. I know I told Mitch I only had one twig left, but I was wrong. When I was at the battlefield, they had these artifacts of dice and dominoes from the Revolutionary War. And in the gift shop, they sold some cow horn dice cups. Ooh. And wooden dice. So I had to scoop that up because, that's gaming related and history. So that was cool. Stonemeyer Games shipped me a copy of Rolling Realms Redux. So this is the Rolling Realms Redux big box, I guess you call this, for Rolling Realms. So we're going to give this a review of the box. So that's in my twig because it was something that was received. But while I was receiving that, it allowed me to add items to the shipping. And I was able to pick up some of my favorite games as Rolling Realms versions. So I now have Brass Birmingham Rolling Realms, the Crusaders, the Thy Will Be Done Rolling Realms, and Lost Ruins of Arnak pack of Rolling Realms. And that, one more. Terraforming Mars Rolling Realms. Nice. So that completes my twig.
I'll have to bring my my Rolling Realms Redux over so you can see what everything ever for Rolling Realms in a box looks like.
That's crazy. There's so much in there.
Yeah, there's a lot. I like this. I love a damaged box if I can get a discount. That's also an interesting thing too. I love you and Rob did that at Miniature Market.
Yeah, we got I got a copy of Scythe one time at Dice Tower with a puncture in the box, and then we got a copy of what was that Descent 3rd edition? I think it is the 3rd edition with a damaged box. Rob got because we went to St. Louis and went to the Miniature Market actual warehouse. And Rob got a damaged box of the train game,
Maglev Metro.
Maglev Metro. Rob got a sweet discount on that one because they had a damaged box.
Yep. And Joseph saying, by the way, Clans of Caledonia, love that game. Got played twice. It did not leave the table. That's one that's got to be on the Ketchupalooza, Carlos. You'll like Clans. It's like brass, though. It'll melt your brain because you're like, I don't have enough money to do this or that. I love that.
Joey hasn't failed me yet on his recommendations. If I'm right, that's Joey from Colorado. Yep. He has not failed me yet on his recommendations. So on that recommendation, I'll have to.
Clans is one of my all-time favorite games. I got on the original Kickstarter, and I just got the expansion for it. Love it. Yep.
Wayne, Clans is very good. Do you play with the expansion? Asked Steven.
I haven't played with the expansion yet. I own the original. I was an original Kickstarter backer and played it a ton. And then I got the expansion a couple months back and just haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. So,
and it is Joey from Colorado. Yay! He said I'd compare it more to Terra Mystica / Age of Innovation with a market.
Yeah. Totally. Yes. Yeah. Totally. The comment about it being like Brass Birmingham is the money and how tight the money can be, and if you miscalculate your spend, you'll be $1 short from being able to place that cow or that whatever on the board. But yeah, it is very Terra Mystica. It's based on Terra Mystica. So yeah, good game. So all right, we want to do the OGG.
It'll be a quick one because I'm not going to go too deep into this. I know Mitch and I both have watched Project Hail Mary. So I got off my flight in Tampa Tuesday evening, and my son scooped me up from the airport with my 15-year-old and my 22-year-old. Scooped me up from the airport, and we ran to Taco Bell for dinner, and then went to the theater at 9:45 p.m., the AMC Veterans IMAX, to watch Project Hail Mary. And as tired as I was, I didn't regret it.
Worth it?
I downed Mountain Dew on the way in. I don't think I would have even needed it. I am normally the guy that goes to the theater and falls asleep after the opening credits.
Well, especially like the AMC Veterans, because they got the giant seats that lay flat and like
so comfy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. But the previews were fun. I used my meta glasses to snap some images of some of the previews that are coming up. I posted them up in the Discord. I saw previews for Masters of the Universe, the new Spider-Man movie. Disclosure Day was there, Wayne. They did a full preview of Disclosure Day. You were hyping that up.
How creepy is that? How creepy is that?
It was creepy in IMAX. It was extra creepy in IMAX with the music. Yep. And there was a few others. Michael, that's the one that stood out for me trailer-wise. The Michael Jackson story. Ooh, man, it Bobo the monkey, like it's all there. Like it's the chimp, it's all there. So some good previews. So what are my thoughts on Project Hail Mary? It's going to be, I want to wait for Rob and Wayne to watch it to really talk about it. My son, that was my son's second time watching it that week. Okay. He watched it in regular, and then he took me to watch it in IMAX. He paid for me to go. That's how much he loved it. He's like, Poppy, we got to go see it. I want to see it in IMAX. I'm taking you. And it did not disappoint.
Let's try to go see it this weekend.
There's some immediate thoughts that I have because, again, it's nerddom is going to come out when this happens. When a great book turns into a movie, nerddom will come out, right? Because it's never going to be as good as the book. You cannot go in there thinking you're going to get everything that's in a book in a 2.5-hour movie. It's just not going to happen.
We saw that. We saw Sam, one of our local gamers, and big on she had a comment on Discord that she had read the book several times and listened to the audiobook several times and found the movie very disappointing.
So I cannot. What I will say is I enjoyed it. I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to buy it as soon as it comes out. I think they focused on the right things. They focused on the friendship, the character themselves, like the emotions, right? Which is what you can put on screen versus the science, like all that science stuff. I think we would turn away a lot of audiences if we went into just digging into the science.
Now, did you read the book already prior to the movie or no?
I read the book, then listened to the audiobook.
Okay.
Like I think like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Got my son into it, and when we found out the movie was coming out, we were both super hyped.
I've done neither. Am I gonna like the movie?
Yes.
Because the trailer made it look silly, and I'm like,
no.
No. It's Ryan Gosling, right?
Yes. Which I was weirded out at first.
Yeah, he weirds me out sometimes. He's like, yeah.
All I think of is The Notebook. Like I watched the Notebook like once a year with my wife.
Oh, that jazz movie, right? That he was in, right? Wasn't he in the jazz movie? Like
I don't think I saw that one. My son saw that one. I'm not a huge theater guy or movie guy, but I will say just go and that's what I told Rob, and I guess I'll tell it to you, Wayne. Both of you go watch it without having read the book, without listening to the audiobook, and then we can do our full beans on it as like a full segment on our review of Project Hail Mary.
Mitchell knows me. La La Land. There we go.
He's a theater guy.
And I haven't seen La La Land, but my wife has, and she hates it. So, and she's a theater person. So yeah, most theater people hate La La Land.
I don't disagree with Mitchell's statement here, where he thought it lived up to the book well, because the book wasn't just science. The book was the interactions between the characters, the emotions, the language barriers, the getting to know each other, the bravery, the sacrifice, that kind of stuff came through in the movie because that's what they can do well. They can really define the characters well in the film.
Good enough. Explaining
the science would turn off a lot of people.
Makes sense.
It's not like the Adam Sandler movie with the spider alien, right? That was more about life.
I don't know.
I'm not familiar with that one. Okay, there was a movie back in like the 80s I don't know if I'm the only one that remembers this movie. There was a war in space, aliens fighting humans in fighter spaces. Pow, 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 pow. Two of them shoot each other and they both land.
Enemy Mine.
What was it?
Enemy Mine.
That's the one. I got a lot of those feels, brother.
Yeah, that's like I think Louis Gossett Jr. played the alien in that. Maybe
I got a lot of those feels of like that emotional connection, that brotherhood, that like that's what I thought of while watching that movie.
Let me see if I was right. Enemy Mine, 1985. Louis Gossett Jr. Yes.
Look
Dennis
at you.
Quaid. Look at that.
Mitch says, as someone who went into the book blind, I was bummed they had to spoil Rocky's existence in the trailer. I agree with you that reading the book, like I set it down when that moment happened. The Rocky, and it's only happened a couple times while reading the books. Like one of them was when Eddard Stark got executed.
That book, yeah, that fucking book
I
went
set
across
my book
the room.
I set my book down and kind of had to lean back and be like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
Right? That was kind of that moment with Hail Mary Project and introduction of Rocky.
Game of Thrones. Eddard Stark died. Let me reread that chapter. Well, he died. Let me read that chapter. What? Get the fuck out of here!
Those feelings, yes.
Yeah.
Mitch says, I remember audibly gasping when he showed up in the book. Yes, that's the feelings. So yeah, I guess that's spoiled with the trailers. But man, I'll say this, and this is not spoiling anything, but some of the decisions that they made in the production of this film, such as less use of CGI. Wait, all the space scenes like in the ship were all like actual sets.
I love the recent trend, like last 2-3 years of sci-fi fantasy things using more practical effects and less CGI.
Right, and with Rocky, they went with puppet, like mostly puppet.
Great.
Do you remember Mandalorian? I'm trying to remember the name of the German actor that was in The Mandalorian. He plays the fish in... oh, gosh. Anyway, he was in The Mandalorian. The German actor... oh, man. Why am I missing his name? Anyway, somebody pull it up. Tell me in the chat. He was in season 1 of Mandalorian. He had the very... Yes. Werner Herzog.
Yep.
When they were doing the filming of Mandalorian, they did the scene, and they did it with like a Grogu puppet, right? And then they said, "All right, reset," and they put like a green thing there. And Werner's asking, "What is that?" He goes, "Well, that's in case we decide to go with CGI." You know what he said to them? "Cowards, you cowards!" Like he was so right. Like, how would we have fell in love with Grogu if he was just another CGI thing? Good night, Joey. With all the fake in the world right now, all the AI fake, all the fake people, the social influencers, like everything is so fake in our world right now. You don't know what's real. Like we want to see real things. And I think they did that so well in this film by putting the actors. This wasn't actors sitting in green screen like Lord of the Rings, right? He was in the sets, in these confined spaces, doing his scenes, and it came through. I can't recommend it more. Great time.
Oh,
Can't wait for you to see it so we can really dig deep.
It wasn't on my list. I was actually going to skip it because the trailer to me just was a turnoff. But basically, everybody has seen it, liked it. Sam's about the only one that didn't, and I understand she loves the books, so we'll see. And that's just sort of just people's different perspectives. So maybe it'll go back on the list of movies to see. I'll have to.
I thought Joey went to bed, but he says practical is better. Yep. So I think he's going to bed now.
Yeah, he's going to bed. Yeah.
What's on your OGG?
Age group though, my kid's 11, 12. He's 12 now. He turned 12 yesterday.
Brother, I gotta say, it was the cleanest movie I've seen in decades.
Okay.
Like language wise, like topic wise, like it just. I would not be afraid to take my 4-year-old to see this film.
VidAngel would let you watch the whole movie.
The whole thing. Like no blocking of anything. Like there was a moment where he was about to drop like an F-bomb, but he it kind of like did a loud noise thing where it kind of, it hit it. And I was just so appreciative of that. As a dad who wants to take my kids to the theaters, right? Like just knowing that I don't have to worry about explaining things felt so good.
Cool. I like it. All right, I'm down. I will rebroach the subject with the wife to see if she wants to go see it.
My 11-year-old and 12-year-old loved it, says Mitchell.
Sounds good. So my OGG, again, I've been watching a lot of YouTube stuff for the last couple of weeks with work. But the two things I want to highlight and I want to reiterate, y'all need to watch The Pit. It is phenomenal. I am on season 2, caught up with it. It's the best
What
medical
service
drama.
is that?
HBO.
HBO. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. You'll need like there's some gory stuff because obviously in an ER, but no,
So not in front of the kids.
Yeah, I think honestly, I would never. Well, different perspectives. There's a couple of curse words here and there, but it's not bad. There's no real.
But the gore worries me more about like messing my kid's brain.
Right. Yeah. Like, but
they hear the cuss words at school, brother. Yeah, I'm not stupid.
Yeah. The medical accuracy of it, the fast pace of it, where it's basically each episode is 1 hour of a shift in ER, which is 12 to 15 hours long. And it's in the middle of Pittsburgh. So it's a busy ER and they just get all the crazy cases and like, the heart wrenching cases that you see, like, like the college kid who was studying and tried to take like a pill for like, like like not even ephedra, but like a caffeine pill, and it ended up being laced with fentanyl. Right.
Oh, that's terrible.
To the dad who has dementia and the kids are trying to decide whether to put him on life support, to the mom with cancer, or to like the kid who got abused, or like to the, the drowning victim, or like just all this stuff and just what they deal with and having to deal with. Like, it is so well done. And like the medical accuracy of it. Cause I've watched some stuff, like there's a Dr. Mike guy on YouTube, which I love. And he was like reviewing it and going, this is scary good. Like, it is so accurate. They're showing like the ECMO machine, which is like this machine that apparently is in use now, where like people having heart attacks, if they can get them on this machine fast enough, they basically it's kind of like dialysis, but they put all the blood and it just flows in and out of this guy, like in one leg and out the other, and keeps them alive until they get to the heart surgery. And just so good. There's an episode where there's an accident at a water park, and a dad, like, he grabs on to like the water park breaks, and he grabs onto the slide to hold his kid, and like his finger gets, like, all the skin on his finger gets pulled off. It's called like a debladement or whatever. And his like wedding ring is stuck in the skin, and they use this ring cutter. Right. And it's actually a real medical device.
Showing all this.
Yeah. They're kind of showing it, but not gorily showing it, but yeah. But like this ring device that they use to cut it is actually this like recently developed technology from like this hospital in Canada, where the guy was like, all the new rings that guys are getting, like tungsten rings and titanium rings.
Yes, that's
like,
stupid.
You can't cut through this stuff with like a little like, it used to be like, oh, you have a gold ring, we'll just take a little Dremel tool and cut it off, and it's like whatever. But now you got all these like tungsten rings that guys are coming in, and if it's stuck on your hand, what are you gonna do? So they developed this ring cutter. And like Noah Wiley, the actor, he goes to like medical conferences, and like there's a clip of him going to a medical conference and like seeing this cool technology of this ring cutter that got invented. And the guy's like, well, we've got a bunch of hospitals that have bought it, and it's not really well known yet. He's like, well, we're going to put it on the show. And since it showed up on the show, like the number of hospitals around this country buying this ring cutter have exploded because it's necessary. Like it's just such a well-written show. And I'm like, grown ass man here, there's been 3 or 4 times in the 2 seasons where I'm crying because it's like tough to watch, but just so well done. Yeah. So that's my first of my 2 my OGGs. It's a really great show. So hard to watch sometimes, but it's worth it. And then the other one.
Well, hold on, before we move on that, because this brings up the topic I had talked about a little earlier. While we're talking gory, hospitals, etc. Wayne, I have to drive out 6 o'clock Saturday to head to Jacksonville, because that was the first stop. We already had hotels booked to stay on my way to work in North Carolina. I'm preparing for this big work event that I got to do. It's a trial. There's no rescheduling this stuff. Like, it's on, right?
Yep.
It's Saturday. It's 2 p.m. and we're getting ready to go, getting everything set up. And all of a sudden I hear my 2-year-old screaming, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? I look over, brother, and my 2-year-old has a plastic hanger, right, in his hands like this, and he's pushing it, trying to push it off his face. The hook is jabbed in his eye, in his lower eyelid, and like a horror movie, like the flesh is pulling from his face, but the hanger's not leaving. He's like just screaming, trying to pull this hanger out of his eye. And I just start freaking out. Like, I don't normally freak out. I got 5 kids, brother. I've got 4 boys. I've seen injuries, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen stuff.
2-year-old with a hanger in his eye.
I was freaking out. Melissa said she heard me and she knew something was wrong because I started flipping out. Like I didn't know what but then dad mode kicked in. I grabbed the kid, I run over there and I pluck the hanger out of his eye. And I get him over onto the counter and I've got him, I got like napkins and stuff trying to wipe out. There's like a little bit of blood in there and I'm like trying to open his eye. Like, please God, let there be an eyeball still there. Like, I'm just freaking out, brother. He starts to calm down, right? I don't see anything. Like he can see me. I hit him with the flashlight. Like all I can think of was like TV shows I watched about doctors.
His eye dilate.
Eyes dilate. I'm like, okay, it can see stuff. So I start freaking out. I call the pediatrician, and the whole time I'm thinking I'm not going to work. Like I'm going to miss this work trip. I call the pediatrician. They say, hey, we can see you right now. It's over there right on Bears and Del Mabry. I rush over there. We get in there. They're looking at him, and they're thinking, "Hey,
Pediatric Healthcare Alliance, is that who you use?"
Yeah, over there on Medaka.
The best,
aren't they? Love them, Dr. Corman, great guy.
They have like 20 places all throughout Tampa, and they literally have a doctor available 24/7. And in one of the places you can go and see somebody. Like it's great. They're so good.
Get me in there. They start looking at him. They say, listen, we're worried because of the blood. It can be an injury to the duct, and you got to get that fixed within 36 hours. They send me to TGH. Luckily, I went there first because I would have gone to my local ER. Apparently, not every ER has an eye doctor on staff. TGH had an eye doctor. Brother, I carried that boy into that. I went through the valet, dropped the van off, ran in there. By the time I gave him his name, went to turn around to sit down, they already called me back there. Within like 5 minutes of walking into the ER door, they had us in the room, and they had the boy. I got an image here on the table, and they're like eyeballing him, checking him out. My meta glasses are awesome, so I snapped a quick picture. Brother, if God ain't good, I don't know, man. Everything was perfect. They said no injury to the eye, no injury to the duct, and I said, but hey, I'm going out of town for 2 weeks. Like I got to go to work, and he was coming with me for spring break. And they said, he'll be fine. Just go up there. If he starts like bumping into stuff because I can't see, then go see they gave me the protocols for what to do. Yep. But God is good. Everything came out fine. But brother, I got to go back to, I've never seen it before in my life. A hanger in the eye, and he's pushing on it. And it's just like pulling, because it's in the lower eyelid. It's like pulling his cheek out. Like a horror movie, brother. Ugh. Yeah, that's gross. No, I thought I was going to cry right there, but I'm like, I got to stay tough because I got wifey here. I got my daughter there. She's freaking out. Like, I got to stay tough, but it all worked out. So there's my pit story, my ER story.
That's a good one. So Mitchell said Hoppers is pretty good. My kid saw that. He went with some friends and saw Hoppers. That's the one where like they have like robotic animals and you can go inside of it and go into it was an animated one. It's good. Steve Newboard Order saying he found the show Paradise on Hulu. So One Mic, One Game had talked about that like a year or so ago with us. It's like quasi-futuristic, and it's about a Secret Service guy and like the murder of the president. But there's like all the sci-fi twist. I've tried to watch the first episode multiple times, and I lose interest about halfway through it. I wonder if I just need to power through the first couple episodes or first episode to really get into it. So I heard it's pretty good. Pablo bringing up in the most recent episode of The Pit, there was an ice incident. What's interesting is that incident was filmed like 6 months ago, right?
Oh, wow.
Right. So yeah, there was ICE agents came into the ER with.
I saw the scene. I watched that
with a patient, and that was filmed months before the whole the Alex Preddy issue. So it's kind of interesting how life imitates art sometimes, because obviously they filmed The Pit months ago, right? And then it was in post production. So, but The Pit pretty good. The other OGG I have, and I'm slightly disappointed in it, is the Peaky Blinders movie. So I love the show Peaky Blinders. It's about the a gang in the 1920s, 30s in Birmingham, England. So it's kind of like it's like The Sopranos in 1930s England. And Cillian Murphy, amazing cast, one of the best shows I've ever seen. The Peaky Blinders, fantastic. It ended 2 or 3 years ago, and they just came out with a movie which jumps forward a few years, and it's more towards the beginning of World War II. And it kind of gives some fan service. It brings back Cillian Murphy as the main character, who is phenomenal in it, but it misses a lot of the ancillary characters that made the show so good. So in the show, he's got a brother. No spoilers. The brother's not in this movie. And then probably the best character other than Cillian Murphy in the entire show of Peaky Blinders was a character called Alfie Solomons, a Jewish gangster, played by, oh God, my brain, the guy who played Bane.
He was in Black Hawk Down,
Right.
Venom.
Yes.
Man, I love this guy. He's like a UFC like MMA fighter on the side. Tom Hardy. There it is.
Tom Hardy. Yes, Tom Hardy. He played a character called Alfie Solomons, who's not in the movie either. So the movie was good. It was kind of like another adventure of the Peaky Blinders, or at least Cillian Murphy's character in the Peaky Blinders, but it was missing just all of the other things that made the series fantastic. I think if you were a fan of Peaky Blinders, it's a fun watch. You can get through it. But if you've not watched Peaky Blinders in general, it is a phenomenal show. It is, if you're a fan of it's a good one. It's so true. It's Downton Abbey for guys. I also like Downton Abbey, so I'm kind of, but if you're a fan of The Sopranos or Sons of Anarchy or Dexter or what's the one with the guy that was the high school science teacher, Breaking Bad, any of those kind of like
where the bad guy is not a bad guy.
Correct. But this is a period piece, so it's Birmingham, England after World War One. Most of them are all World War One vets, so they're dealing with the PTSD of World War One while still trying to be gangsters. And it is just, the characters are phenomenal. And if you like Tom Hardy, this is one of his. He's not in every season, and he's in different things. But I mean, like Luca Tancredi is a character name, but it's the actor with the crooked nose who was in
the Wilson brothers.
No, not the Wilson guy. No, the other. Oh, I forget his name now. I'm bad with names, but anyway, fantastic series. Your Vid Angel would have cut out a chunk of it because of the cursing and violence, but it's not super gory. But it fantastic because it deals with the Irish and the English fighting. The whole Bloody Sunday stuff and just the gangsters and mobsters and they're fighting the American mobsters. They're fighting the London mobsters because they're from Birmingham. They're the Jewish mobsters, which is Alfie Solomon's character, Tom Hardy's character, who's phenomenal. Like, he's one of the best characters in the whole show. Any scene he's in, he kind of chews it up. But it's a really good show. The movie was slightly disappointing. So that's my OGG.
There's something that I added to my wish list when I was up in for work, hanging out with a bunch of attorneys. And apparently a show that's doing the circuits in that world is called Jury Duty. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
Okay, so this is on my list, and wifey and I are going to get to watching this.
Is that the one with the celebrities that serve on juries?
No, check this out. This is a show, and it's a show where one of the people in the show don't know that the show is fake. Mitch is in here. Jury Duty is amazing. So you get called up for jury duty,
right? And
you somehow get voted as the foreman of the jury, but everyone there is an actor.
Okay.
The whole jury, all of the prosecution, all of the defense, the defendant, everyone's an actor, and they put these folks in these crazy scenarios. And this totally sounds amazing to me.
And so the person really has no clue that they're in.
It's Truman Show. It's like straight up Truman Show. Like you have no idea that this is all fake, and you're just like mind blown. Mitch says season 2 is about to come out. It's called Company Retreat. Okay, I'm gonna have to get this one. I will watch some of this before next week. I will report back on Jury Duty. It got added to my list. I wanted to see if anybody else had seen it, because I was the foreman on a jury once, and it was quite interesting. I'm curious to see how others dealt with something like that.
There must be some flag in some federal or government system going, you don't want Wayne Kruger on a jury because he'll just vote to convict for the hell of it or something. Because I've never been called for jury duty. Like, everyone I know has been called, and like I have a woman at work that has literally been called like every 6 months or every at least twice a year or once a year for like years. Like, how do you keep getting picked? I've never been once. Never even gotten the summons for jury duty.
That's hilarious.
I want to serve on it.
I always get knocked off because I'm an insurance guy, so I'm a logical person. Like, I don't know what they see about me. Like, but the 2 times that I've been on have both been murder trials, and one of them I got selected as the foreman for a murder trial here in Tampa.
For real?
And brother, we can. It took a little while, took a lot of conversations in the jury room because not everybody was on board, but we finally did come down with a conviction. And after we did that, the bailiff turned and looked at us and says, "Y'all want to stick around for the sentencing?" We stuck around for the sentencing. Come to find out, that was like his third murder that week. So like he was already found guilty for one of them. We were like the second one.
Wow.
So it was quite interesting. I immediately went home and shaved because I had a full beard at the time. So I shaved my beard and I bought a shotgun. So because it was right here in Tampa. Like it's where I live. Like what if I see this guy's, the witnesses that came in and the family members that were there, like I might see him at Bravo. It was a Latino. I might see him at Bravo. I don't know. Good times.
That's crazy. Awesome.
Man, that show flew by.
Yeah.
Even without Rob. We didn't get into the news, but this is in the news part. Wayne, is there any article there in the next 8 minutes that you want to get in? I have none that are pressing. Any one of them that you want to pop in on?
No,
in the news?
not really. I think the only one we could talk about the
we got 8 minutes.
Let's do this one real quick. Well, because this is kind of like just breaking news. The other ones can wait till next week because the Kickstarter conversation can wait too till next week as well. But let's talk about Restoration Games bringing back Star Wars, the Queen's Gambit. But wait a second, they're retheming it to Lord of the Rings.
That is awesome.
So that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, How about that? Stephen Colbert is writing the new Lord of the Rings film.
I saw just before the show started. I saw something about that.
It's not the new Lord of the Rings film. It's the next, because there's already another on the Trail of Gollum or something like that coming out soon, and he's writing the next one. So there's going to be another Lord of the Rings in here. But what's funny is I saw someone post this in our Discord server. And I didn't put two and two together that Lord of the Rings, The King's Gambit is just a remake of the Star Wars game, Queen's Gambit. So that'll be interesting. I mean, obviously, the Queen's Gambit is a sort of that holy grail of board games that people want because it's never going to be printed again, and it was actually a mass market type game that was pretty good. But I'll be interested to see. So, I'm
in for Lord of the Rings on the theme. I saw some comments because Tom talked about it in the news. In his news show, and there were a lot of comments in his YouTube about being upset about the theme change and this isn't what we want Queen's Gambit, but at the end of the day, like I would prefer the Lord of the Rings theme over the Star Wars Episode 1 theme. I don't know, that's just me. Like do I really want young Anakin flying around in a Naboo fighter?
But Rob Daviau, who was involved in the original Queen's Gambit, Star Wars Queen's Gambit, all of them are back. So
which company's doing it?
It's a combination.
Is it Restoration Games?
It's Restoration Games with Space Cowboys, and Space Cowboys, I believe, is owned by Asmodee because they own the rights to Lord of the Rings games. Which
they seem to be giving out those rights like candy.
Yep. Here's your little Pez dispenser of Lord of the Rings games.
But I'm here for it.
So, Restoration Games today with Space Cowboys announced a joint project to revive the board game classic game, The Queen's Gambit, this time set in the Lord of the Rings universe. And it'll be coming to Kickstarter. So, that's going to be a big Kickstarter.
And Restoration Games is going to do it right. I can't think of many titles that Restoration Games hasn't done
even the ones I'm not a
justice
fan
to.
of, they did good. It was a good game. It just didn't it wasn't my type of game, right?
Yeah, and their production values are great.
Yep.
Thunder of Vendetta, the redo of Nexus Ops.
Fireball Island was pretty good. The Return to the Dark Tower, really good. So it should be interesting. So that'll be, and that's just in a line of we'll talk about this next week, but it seems like Kickstarters now are either monster or nothing. There's that in between. Kickstarter seems to have gone away because there's a couple right now that are 3-4 million. And all the rest are, a couple 100,000.
But you know what, though? Okay, let's talk about that topic there. What happens when a company tries to provide an in-between, right?
Yeah.
The grognards get lit. And let me give an example. Brass Pittsburgh just announced. right? And Roxley says, hey, we'll do the deluxe thing here, but you know what? We'll separate the Iron Clays. That way it can be a more moderate game. We'll put cardboard in there for the folks that don't want the Iron Clays.
Give me 1 second. Be right back.
And then the people freak out. The folks at home freaked out at the idea of not being able to get their Iron Clays in the deluxe without having to pay extra. When Roxley said, hey, we heard your feedback. We heard that you wanted not to have to spend that much on the Uber Deluxe and to be able to have like a moderately priced, well-produced game. And then we got mad at them. So they're talking about reconsideration of that and how they're going to implement the Iron Clays in there. I'm totally fine with their deluxe version not including the Iron Clays because I already got them. I already got all the Iron Clays. For me, I don't want another set of Iron Clays except for the metal ones. That's the other piece. The metal Iron Clays are the ones that I would get.
See, I'm with the Grognards on this one.
Oh,
a little bit. Yeah.
Color me surprised.
Are you?
I'm not surprised. Not at all.
Well, so here's the thing. I have no problem with you removing the Iron Clays because I already own several sets of them that I would just throw in there anyway. So and I know that things have become more expensive, right? Don't get me wrong. Prices have gone way up. But so 2018 was the last, I think it was 2018, was the Kickstarter for Brass Birmingham and Brass Lancashire. For $120 US, I got both games with Iron Clays, right? Both games deluxe with Iron Clays. Fast forward, we're now 9 years later. So yeah, 9 years, pandemic, tariffs, all the other crap.
The world is different now.
The world is different now. Just the deluxe game, no Iron Clays, $125.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, I understand the prices have gone up, but
wooden tile tokens, though, like
but they had them. Was it wooden tile tokens?
No, they're mine are cardboard.
Yeah. So it's a little pricey for what it is. We'll see. And now I will say they have a bunch of stretch goals that they haven't shown and more deluxeified components.
But did you see that they changed their mind on that too? We'll come back to that.
Yeah, they were going to release them once a day throughout the tournament thing.
No, they were gonna release them based on dollar goals.
Dollar goals. Now
they're changed it to, you know what? We'll just post one every day.
Yeah, because we're going to do them anyway because we know we're going to reach those goals. So screw it.
You don't have to lie to me. You don't have to give me FOMO.
Yeah. I just think that so it's more than doubled in price from $60 to $125 per game without the Iron Clays. And so if I want to buy Pittsburgh, $125 and then add Iron Clays is $50 more. So it's $170.
I thought it was $100 for the Iron. I'm thinking the metal. Maybe I'm thinking the metal.
Metal's like $100.
Yeah, I'm already planning on the metal.
Yeah. The Iron Clays are $60. The metal is $100. So you're talking about $175 to $225
for one board game.
For one board game when 8 years ago you got both for $120, including the Iron Clays.
Valid.
That's a huge, and I get prices. I guess what I'm saying is I don't mind the price increase. I don't mind them taking the Iron Clays out and cardboard chips. All that's great. I don't know if the price here is
for a game that we know we're not going to play every week, because this is not the hey, let's drop some Brass Birmingham on the table this weekend.
It's not even that. And I love Roxy games, and I'm not trying to. I think what I'm suggesting is they've added in a little extra profit on this game.
You think so?
I think they've padded the numbers. I think they know that the gamers are clamoring for it. That Brass Birmingham has been the number one game on BGG for a number of years, and I think that they go, this game probably only costs $100. Let's just charge $125 and see what happens.
Yeah, they've got it right now. They've got a hold on a group of high complexity gamers.
Yep, it's at $3 million already. So I honestly feel like the game is probably $25 more expensive than it should be.
I think BG Potato says he's going to wait till
the retail
comes out.
Yeah, and the retail is $75 or $79 if you want to buy it at retail. I just feel like, and maybe even not 100, like the 125. They're saying their MSRP is going to be $150. what? 150 MSRP, and they're discounting it to 125. I don't know. It just seems high to me.
A lot more margin available, you think?
I think so. I know Aaron's board games are getting expensive. They're getting very expensive, but this just seems, again, adding in Iron Clays is $60 more. So 125 plus 60 is 185 plus shipping. You're over $200 for a game
for just a couple mechanism changes.
Slight 15% different, maybe a little bit more complex, but not really. That's crazy. Now a lot of this, I need to go through and look at if they show. I don't know if GameFound shows how many people bought each of the different
tiers,
because
they got like a $350 like full set, all three
games, and like how many people are buying Brass Birmingham, Brass Lancashire, or just Pittsburgh, or how many people are buying all three? Like I already own Lancashire and Birmingham, and like I guess they're also trying to sell this no glare board and these plastic cards.
Yeah, I love the plastic cards.
Which probably adds to the cost.
The 2-player side of the game. I love that. A dedicated 2-player board.
Yeah,
built just for 2 players.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love Brass. I love Brass, the old ugly version. I love the Brass Lancashire and Brass Birmingham. It's a little bit like if it was $100, I might consider it. Like I know it's only $25 difference, but I'm like,
no, it makes a difference.
It does, and actually, I think I might just do the Essential Edition, the $79 version, and then I have 2 boxes of Iron Clays right there that I'm not even using, and I'll just throw one of them in the box and done. Right? Like,
but man, those metal ones.
I actually don't like them. I'm not a fan. I know you like them.
I like that skeleton look to them. That skeletonized. Where they got kind of holes in the middle of them. I just want to. If they're the size of an Iron Clay. And they're metal. That metal. Clank is going to be awesome. That clackety clack is going to be great.
Nope. That's not opening up right. Never mind. That opened up a video. I'm trying to blow it up here. Yeah, there we go.
Look at that.
Where are they?
Those look fantastic.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Go one last here. I guess. I don't know. For $100.
Problem is, I barely use my Iron Clays to begin with because most games come with good components.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
look at the perimeter on them. The Cinco, Quinto, 5 written on there, all different languages.
I have 2 full boxes of the Iron Clays that are sitting in my shelf of RPG games over here because I thought I'd use them in all the board games,
but I haven't.
I
only really use them when I play Brass.
9 years and I've never used them. They're unused. And what's funny is Brass, my Brass. You bought the retail copy of Brass, right?
Right, and then I went and bought the Iron Clays to fill it in.
I have the deluxe Brass, the deluxe Birmingham, Lancashire, and Birmingham that already have clays inside the boxes, so they already have their own dedicated clays. And then I was an idiot
on top of the extras that you bought.
Yeah. So when you bought the 2 deluxe versions, it came with sets of Iron Clays.
Yeah, they had their own little trays that sit inside the box.
Trays that sit inside the box, and then you could buy the extra little pack to
the sliver.
Them.
I bought 2 of those.
Finish them all in. So both in my game shelf, both Birmingham and Lancashire have a full set of Iron Clays in each of them, and I have 2 more sets of Iron Clays that I just don't. But the way I also view it too is if I ever have a poker night, I'm just gonna grab all 4 of them. And there you go. I got all the poker chips I need. So
Pablo says he bought the Iron Clays for wits and wagers. Talk about overproduced.
Nice.
It's the Aaron says, yeah, some games you do have to stop and question, is the Super Deluxe Edition really worth it at the increased price?
Yeah. I think what just kills me, and we talked about this way after we played Pandemic Legacy Zero, and like Daryl was like, games are twice as expensive as they were 8 years ago. I'm like, yeah, but this is more than twice as expensive because I got both copies with Iron Clays for $120. This is $125 for one game without Iron Clays. So that's a little bit more than double the cost,
And I know that I will get Concordia played so much more with wifey than I will any 2-player game of Brass.
Correct. And for the difference between Lancashire, Birmingham to this, I don't need all 3. I already own 2 of the 3. With Concordia, I have, just like with with Castle of Burgundy, I'll have my crazy cool version that I'll play at home, and then I'll have the box that I can travel with if I want to take it to a game day. Yeah, I'm probably not going to back this. I'm probably just going to wait and then just do. I think I'm really trying not to do Kickstarter stuff. I really just want to do the Concordia one. But that was one of the other two things that I was like, I was talking about that, and then there's the Slay the Spire expansion that is blowing up crazy. It's at 3.7 million already, which is crazy too. Look at that.
Oh, there it goes.
Whoop. And part of it is again
1,000 backers.
Yep. There's another one where this game blew up. I haven't played it yet, but everyone says it's amazing. And now they have the expansion. And if you want to go in for the expansion and get the original because you don't own the game, it's like $250, $300, I think, for the
Slay the Spire was always to me just like like you said, like $20 too much, which is why I never pulled the trigger on it. Yep. It was always like just $20 too much.
Just the expansion, $84, and that only has 2,400 backers, right? But the collector's pledge, 7,000 backers, which is Slay the Spire, the board game, Downfall Collector's Edition, and the acrylic tokens at $119. But then you got the collector's pledge. Let's see, where was the one? This is the one here. $262 for the original select thing. Trading card mats, 3,000 backers. That's not even the highest one. There we go. $268 for Slay the Spire, the board game, the expansion with the playmat tokens and all exclusives. With shipping, it's over 300, and there's 2,600 people backing it.
And to think that the sleeves all broke on the last one.
And how about this one? $425. Slay the Spire, the board game, the collector's edition, the playmats, acrylic tokens, metal coins, beta art, table playmat, and carry case. Choose design and pledge master, bag of preparation, and all exclusive. It's 1,200 people. 1,200 people dropping $500 on a board game in the current economy that we live in is mind blowing to me. That crazy that people still have that amount of disposable income. So.
NBO Stevens NBO says, I know that there's special cards and some kind of upgraded board for the older two brass games.
You can buy just the no glare board and the plastic cards for the old games. Yeah,
for $45 is what they're saying. But I mean, $45 to 70, isn't it 70 per game?
No, yeah, it's 125 per game.
Oh wow! Okay, I'll just take the $45, please.
Or 79 for just the non-deluxified Pittsburgh.
Oh, so none of the plastic cards.
But here's my question: so the no glare board. How bad is glare on boards that you need the no glare board? Like I've never really had a problem with the because the brass has the one that you flip it over. It's got the light side, the dark side, so you can play with that. The cards, I don't know. I think I sleeved all my brass cards anyway. So what do I need? I don't need plastic cards. It's like the only game I've sleeved for some reason.
Because it's a fantastic looking game.
Yep. So yeah.
Aaron Clark, Awakened Realms seems to be pretty good at offering discounts, so you're getting a good deal regardless of the pledge level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I felt like the money I spent on the Castles of Burgundy Deluxe, I felt like I got my money's worth out of that.
Yeah, look at I think it's $250 for the Foundations, Magnix box. Like, there's so much more stuff that comes in that. Yeah, you do feel like you get a better deal.
Yeah,
and that's retail $250.
Yeah,
that's like after the Kickstarter. All right, hombre,
yep.
We did it.
Yep,
another episode in the books. Thank you all. All of the comments have been great. Aaron's got one more for me. Probably in the minority, he says, but Slay the Spire as a board game just doesn't work. App is so streamlined and quick that the board game is a mechanical slog.
Yeah. I've played the Slay the Spire video game a ton. My wife played it 1,000 hours at probably, knowing her. And I love the video game. I haven't played the actual board game yet. I heard it's really cool, and at least the co-op version makes it even cooler. So I would like to give it a try before but I mean, I also I spent $500 on the board game, or like you said, $20 on the video game, and I can play it as much as I want. So
I don't think Aaron, 19,000 backers of the expansion would say to you that you're wrong. Next week we'll be back for another great episode. Hopefully we'll have Rob back. Rob will be updating us on his trip to Sobo, Southern Board Game Fest. It's going to be the first April show of the month, so we should be updating our boards.
Which I'll do March and April. I'll double it up, yeah.
And then callers starting in April calling in will be put into the raffle for games. I've already showed you some today that are going to be in that games that we'll give away. So we'll reward all our callers in the month of April. It's been another great episode, Wayne. Thank you so much for joining me, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I'm Carlos.
And I'm Wayne.
And we are the Beans and Dice Podcast.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
God bless. Good night.